All right, all right. Welcome back to the Green Logbook. Good to be back here. Good to be hanging out with folks. Took a little while off, the last day off, I think, and just to kind of be with the family. Of course, it was Christmas. It was a time to sit down and be around the family, reflect, and all that. And now Christmas is done. Got my gifts in check, gave out the gifts, and now we're here today on Saturday, December 27th, ramping up for the new year for 2026. Can't wait for it. So I just came off I'm part of a group, right? A different group. It's called Veterans and Coffee Connection, right? So it's about 18 of us or so that just got together and just kind of brainstorm, come together and talk about the ways that we can improve, ways that we can um, go into 2026 with a clear mind. And real quick, B. Kim Austin, hey, welcome to the Green Logbook, man. Happy to have you here. Good afternoon. That's right. It's good morning for me still, and happy New Year as well. So yeah, I just got back from the group, and a lot of good ideas thrown around there. A lot of good things for the 2026 year, and I just kind of wanted to talk about them here. And I will post this up on, as I always do, on the live stream. If anybody wants to jump on the live stream, uh, and talk about your 2026 goals if you feel so inclined. Navy Cop, yes, just joined that group yesterday. LinkedIn, right? That's correct. LinkedIn. It's run by a retired uh, Marine Master Sergeant named Pedro, and he does an awesome job at kind of doing the whole collaborative effort and getting everybody involved, bringing folks in. I think the group is at like something 90 something so far. Very good group. But we talk a lot about what we have going on in life, struggles, things like that, and ways to improve ourselves, right? Because you want to be 1% better every day. And that is the idea with this whole thing and why I run this channel here is to connect for one, to connect, to collaborate, to network, to talk about the ups and downs that we have as veterans. Even if you're not a veteran, welcome to the channel. You're more than welcome to come by, stop by, and talk about what you got going on in life. So the big talk today was, what are you leaving behind going into 2026, right? And there's a couple things that I'm leaving behind, and I'm curious to know, folks out there, what are you leaving behind going from 2025 to 2026? It doesn't have to be anything crazy, nothing spectacular. It could be something as simple as, you know, I don't know, I'm gonna leave my shoes out in the morning so that way I can get up and have something ready for my morning walk, something like that. Excuse me. For me, I'm leaving behind complacency, and I think I've talked about it a little bit on this channel before. How I retired from the Marine Corps in 2023, December 2023, and since then I've had the mindset, that whole retired mindset, right? And you may have that as well if you're retired, or if maybe you have a VA disability or something like that that can potentially be holding you back. I've had that mindset for so long, like, hey, I'm retired. I don't really need to do anything. I can just chill all day, right? Because I'm retired. Little did I know that mindset would catch up to me very quickly, right? And I went through this whole mindset mood of, am I good enough? What am I doing with my life? Like all these thoughts, all these things that you start thinking about if you're just kind of stuck in a box, in an office inside all day. For a while, I didn't want to go outside. For a while, I was just kind of keeping to myself and not wanting to talk to anybody. And I think that stemmed from complacency, just being comfortable where I am without any growth, right? So, damn it, everything's freaking floating around here and something stuck in my throat. Damn it. Anyway, complacency is what I'm leaving behind in 2025. No longer am I comfortable with being comfortable all the time. I need to make waves. there's a saying out there, Navy cop, please correct me if I'm wrong because you were in the Navy, obviously. Calm waves never made a good sailor. Calm waves never made a good sailor, and you need to have some kind of waves in your life a little bit in order to grow. And I plan to do that for myself this year in 2026. And, I say it every year. However, this year I'm putting my foot down because I need to do it. All right. I went from the retired life, complacency, from being comfortable with being comfortable. And that's not where I want to live. I don't want that to be my baseline. For so long, when I was in the Marine Corps, it was always wake up at 4:30, 5:30. It was always, that was my baseline. Have a battle mission, a battle rhythm, get ready for the day, potentially drop off my kids if I have a chance. And it was go. You have to do your PFT, your CFT, all that good stuff twice, twice a year. And, I've kind of lost that. And not to say that I want to go and do a PFT or CFT anymore. I'm okay without those things. Um, what I'm saying is, I'm just sick and tired of being comfortable all the time. So I need to make waves in my life. And it's nothing crazy. It's just step one, start hitting the gym again. Step two, start reading a little bit more, which I kind of fell off a little bit a while back. And I started last year in 2025, this year, started reading a little bit more, started picking up books more, started opening up more books in my library that I have accumulated and not opened up. So highlighting things, writing things down, started writing more, in an effort to make myself 1% better every day. Let me see. Let me go to the comments here real quick. Beacon Austin, man, thank you for commenting here. Right on, brother. I'm leaving behind the art of laziness. I've wasted time scrolling and not utilizing my time for the better. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. I'm there with you. And I will say the scrolling thing, um, there's nothing good that comes of that, I feel. Um, I'll tell you this. Um, I think I've shared it on this channel before. I took all the social media off my phone. I mean, with the exception of YouTube, because I do have like YouTube channels and analytics and stuff that I keep track of. Other than that, I used to have uh, uh, Instagram, Facebook. Was never really a big TikTok person. I downloaded it at one point, but I took it off my phone right after. Was never really a big X or Twitter person. Downloaded it on my phone, then took it off after. The only thing I really have is YouTube, and I don't find myself scrolling on there a lot. For a while, like a week after I took it off, took all the apps off, um, I did get that fear of missing out, that FOMO, right? Wondering, hey, well, I wonder what people are doing out there, blah blah. And that quickly went away. It quickly went away. Maybe about 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after I took it off, went away. I stopped caring what everybody else was doing out there. I was just concentrating on me a little bit more. And that was really a weight lifted off my shoulders. So, Big Kim Austin, thank you for commenting that. That is huge. Taking the social media off your phone. It can be kind of scary sometimes because that's part of our daily life. But I think it's a necessity if you want to grow. Let me see. Calm seas, calm seas, calm seas never made a good sailor. Yes, I like that. Beacon Boston. Looking forward to heading back to school to achieve my second master's. Awesome, dude. That's great. It's been a while, but got to use my benefits and get back into the fight. Absolutely, man. So that's another thing, right? Getting your education in check, right? So this is an ever-changing world. It's an ever-changing world. If you stay stagnant, you will never grow. You will never be competitive enough for folks, for these organizations to get your foot in the door in different places. A lot of it is who you know, but a part of it is what you know as well. They're not going to hire somebody who's well connected and doesn't know anything about AI if you're applying to an AI position, right? You got to know a little something. So using those benefits, I mean, I've spoken ad nauseum about VRE benefits, about using your post 9/11 GI Bill. Um, After I sat in that VA, was it whole health, that VA whole health seminar, they talked about how, at least here in California where I am, the Department of Labor will actually pay for your education as well. It doesn't include the VA benefits, but they will pay for your education, which is awesome. If you've exhausted all your post 9/11 GI Bill and you can't get into the VRE and all that stuff, definitely check with your own state and see what they offer. But there's things out there like that that can pay for the education. But yeah, let me see. Josh CPNW. Hey, welcome, Josh, man. And in action, absolutely in action. For so long, I've been in this cycle, right? Like, what do I do today? And not really doing anything. Like my wheels are spinning, but I'm going nowhere, right? And that stopped earlier in 2025 when I decided, hey, look, I'm going to make a plan of action for my day and go forward with what I got. And I mean, I'm probably on my second one of these. These are key right here. I mean, you can get these anywhere like Staples or whatever, but just check boxes, plan of the day, what I got going on. I keep it right here on my desk so I can easily see it, pick it up and see it anytime I'm here. Um, so yeah, big thing is bringing in structure and goals. Real quick, I put the link in the description or in the comments if anybody wants to jump on and talk about what they got going on for 2026. Please feel free to jump on. Making this a collaborative effort for folks. I don't want to just be the one talking here, but if you got anything to share, please feel free to do so. I already finished my cup of coffee, and I'm on just just so I don't get all the freaking headaches from being on coffee all the time, and then getting off coffee the next day. I'm just drinking some hot chocolate today. So big ups to anybody else doing the same. And please share in the comments. What are you drinking? What are you drinking? Dark roast. Usually I got my dark roast going, but I'm curious to hear. Let's see. Excuse me. Navy Cop, hoping to hear from VRNE at some point. Need to hit the ground running in 2026 as best as I can. A bit of fear going into it, but in action and analysis paralysis has killed the end of 2025. I like that you brought that up. Analysis paralysis. I'm going to write that down here. I have it. I have a whiteboard next to my desk, and I'm always looking at this thing. I got quotes. I got a lot of stuff that you guys put up on here as well. It says too much education, not enough execution. Okay, and I think that kind of goes in hand in hand with analysis paralysis. We're always analyzing this stuff. I'm always analyzing the best way to do something, but do I ever push the button? Before 2025, I didn't. It was just kind of like standby mode. And 2025 was really the year where I started taking action. 2026, I'm ramping that thing up. I'm ramping it up, and I hope you are too. Let's see. 12, Bravo, 10, ginger beer. Drinking ginger beer. I like that. It's pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Yeah, so I'm bringing in some structure and some goals, writing things down, making sure that I check these things off my list. I have not made the video yet. I'm planning on releasing this thing next week, but I've got a goal here of reading 12 books in 2026, and I'm gonna disclose those on the video, which ones I'm gonna be reading, in order to get like the whole picture of where I want to be in 2026. It's gonna be like self-help. It's gonna be spiritual stuff. It's gonna be philosophy. A lot of philosophy. I got a ton of philosophy I have to get through here, but I'll be putting a video up on that pretty soon. And I'm not going to overwhelm myself like I did in 2024 to start 2025 off. It was crazy because I put this goal that I was going to do, read one book a week, and holy crap, did that fall by the wayside really quick. That obviously did not happen. That was a crazy goal to have, because then I'd have books like on my list, like this guy right here, which I'm not going to get through in about a week unless I'm just sitting there and just reading it all freaking day. So even this one here, The Laws of Nature by Robert Greene. I'm like, shit, I'm about 50 pages in, so far, and I usually just read it at night before I go to sleep. Very interesting, but that's the one. That's the first one I'm looking to get done in 2026. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see here. Josh, CPNW, 2026 goals: 2x business, 4x stretch goal, complete 3 renovation projects. Man, that is, you got some goals, dude. Finish homeschool kindergarten ahead of schedule. Awesome. Win VGA national championship. VG. All right. Right on, man. You got some goals. I like that. Those are the big ones. Many, 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 many others. So, Josh C, PNW, got a question for you, man. How are you holding yourself accountable for this? Do you have somebody? Have you told somebody about these? I mean, aside from everybody here in the chat and me, right? That can hold you accountable for this stuff. Have you put something like milestones set in place? I find that that's a big big supporter of my goals. Is put it on my calendar and set milestones. Like by this point in time, you should be here. By this point in time, you should be here. And then the final one would be, a month out. Just hitting milestones, and it'll just show up in my notifications. And when I'm falling by the wayside, those notifications will hit me. It'll ping me and be like, damn, I got to get back on my crap because my next milestone is coming up. Let's see here. What up, though, with Detroit Cuddy? I like that name, man. A few minutes late, had to get the twins up and ready for the day. Awesome, man. Good to have you. Good to have you. And great talk today. Great talk today, Mr. What Up, Doe with Detroit Cuddy, on the veterans and coffee. Good stuff. I love the collaboration there. And that's kind of like why that a lot of what we talk about there kind of spills into what I'm bringing up here. And Josh C, PNW brought up some good stuff about a lot of goals. And again, my question is accountability. When you have this plethora of goals, this this list of goals, how are you holding yourself accountable for that? How are you making sure that you hit the mark on every one of those? Do you have an accountability buddy? Somebody call you out like, hey, you're messing up. You got to get back on track. Oh, how's this going? Kind of like, hey, give me a progress report on what's happening. Do you have an accountability buddy for that? Another good thing that was brought up during this chat I had was this gentleman mentioned how he works by seasons, right? Winter season, spring season's coming up, and he's going to be reaping what he sowed in the winter season. You work hard, kind of like weightlifting, right? You start bulking and then you start cutting or working out towards, having that beach body, whatever it is. You're reaping what you sow. What are you preparing right now that's going to be in your life in 2026, early 2026, say first quarter 2026? What are you doing right now to prepare for that? Josh CPNW says, we track our metrics in Business Weekly. Nice. Renovation projects are the tough test to stay on track. Kindergarten is a daily tracker. My wife and I are partners in all 3. That's excellent, man. And I love that you mentioned that. You and your wife are partners in all 3. That's another great thing, right? Is working on your marriage, making sure it's tight, making sure that you guys are collaborative on the same page. I've been kind of going through a few like YouTube channels on people who are having troubles in their marriage and stuff like that, and how to get it better and all that. Not to say that I'm having any troubles, but there's always room for improvement. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but I'd like to get it as close to perfect as I can. It will never be perfect, but as close to perfect as I can. So I like it. Working hand in hand with the wife. Tracking is a constant, ever-present discussion. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And, hold yourself accountable too, and golf is golf, dude. Golf is golf. I tried golfing for a while, and I got this back thing going on and just kind of leaning over. it was kind of killing me, man. I couldn't I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'd like to get into it because it seems like a less I don't know, less impactful sport. I've always been into like boxing, so I like to hit the boxing gym and stuff like that, and going to the batting cages. But that's a lot of movement. I think as I grow older, I'd like to work on maybe some more stretching. You know, more more movement that's not hitting a punching bag or getting hit back. Let's see here. I need to develop my tracking system to be more effective this year. Question for you, Gunny. How are you developing your tracking system? Sounds like Vic is ready for pickleball. Dude, I have played pickleball. It's fun. I'm not sure that I'm playing in accordance with the rules because I go out and play with my kids and stuff. But from what I've seen, because I know there's other people like at these little tennis courts that do like the whole pickleball, it can get very competitive. So yeah, Gunny, when you mentioned you need to develop your tracking system to be more effective this year, the question was how are you looking to develop that tracking system? Is it like an Excel spreadsheet? Are you writing something down? I'm curious. Maybe focus on the website and working on small business ideas. You need to start small and doable projects as opposed to looking at a lot and overwhelming myself. I did that in 2025 and stalled out badly. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, that is huge. Working on one small thing at a time, not overwhelm yourself. I did it with the book thing, trying to read 52 books a year, and I got through like 10. I was like, I hit a wall there, man, and it wasn't pretty. I was really down on myself about that and a couple other things that I had set out for myself, but it wasn't. I didn't hit the mark on those. So having realistic goals, I think, are big. Working on small business ideas on the website. Yes, and he says, "Yeah, just need to start. My wife loves ChatGPT, so I'm sure that will be involved heavily." Yeah, so that's the good thing about it. You have the technology at your fingertips. You just type it in there what your goals are, expectations. Just give it a prompt, and it'll spit out an entire thing. I actually put in a workout at one point. Like, hey, this is how much I weigh. This is how much body fat I am. I would like to get into this body fat percentage around there, and still be healthy. I would like to work out maybe 3 or 4 times a week. You put all that stuff in Chat GPT and it spits out all the stuff, your entire workout. You put what kind of equipment you've got, like I only want to do kettlebells or only want to do whatever band workouts or something. And it'll spit out an entire workout for you. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know how like health coaches and stuff like that are competing with stuff like this, but I'm curious what the future will bring. I feel like AI has significantly improved in like the last 3 years since since I've left the military. Josh C. PNW, that which you measure, you can improve. If you don't track it, it can't be managed or improved. Alex Hormozy. Josh, I know you're a big Alex Hormozy fan, man. Let's see. That which what you measure, you can improve. If you don't track it, it can't be managed or improved. That's right, because you don't know what's happening. Absolutely. I'm curious for everybody, and I know we talked about it, Gunny. What's one thing that you are leaving behind in 2025, and one thing that you are bringing into 2026? I'll share this on the screen one more time here in the comment section. If anybody feels so inclined, you don't have to have your camera on or anything. You could just be audio, whatever. Jump on the live stream if you'd like. Jump on the live stream. Let's see. As far as goals go, I always try to set 3 to 1. Immediate or easily attainable. Oh, set 3, excuse me. I always try to set three: immediately, easily attainable; one that is a bit harder to achieve or will be ongoing; three, an ultimate goal, which will be one long term. I like it. Yeah, start the complete the easier ones first, right? A little bit harder to achieve, an ongoing ultimate goal. Yeah, I like that. I've always set my ultimate goal and just kind of worked backwards to see what kind of milestones I need to hit to get there. I think that works pretty well for me. I mean, at least it has in like my military career, and even afterwards as a federal employee, as a surface warfare contractor, it has worked out pretty well for me. Another thing that was brought up was in that chat, man, was the fact that don't try you don't have to try to fit in, just you just need to be. So many times I felt like, and I'm sure you all have seen this online as well, how we compare ourselves to somebody else's. We might be at level 10 and we're comparing ourselves to somebody who's at level 30 or something like that. Like, man, why can't I be there? Well, because they have so many steps above it. They've had so many years to define this, to achieve that, and just do what you can where you are with what you've got. I think that was a an old I forgot where that quote came from, Teddy Roosevelt maybe. Do what you can where you are with what you've got. And I'm no longer looking to um, be at somebody's level 10 when I'm at level 2. I'm just keeping my head down and working with what I've got. I'm just trying to perfect the things on my plate. Let's go into the chat here real quick. Navy Cop says AI changes weekly as long as we use it as a tool and not a replacement. Fitness coaches bring the human element and live motivation, while ChatGPT can improve the ideas, schedules, prompts. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I was going to a fitness coach at one point, and this it was good to be there with a live person. It was good to be there with somebody actually like being next to me, doing the workouts with me, and like motivating me there. Chat GPT is like the just what you get on paper or on screen, right? It's not going to motivate you. It's just going to give you the information. Gunny says, I'm leaving behind all the negativity that was being unemployed for nearly two, three-fourths of the year. Dude, I remember you talking about that, and wonder how, not wonder, but I can only imagine the mental hit that takes, especially when you have a family that you need to provide for. I'm not sure if your wife works. I'm not, but I can only imagine the mental hit that takes, the collaboration between your wife and yourself on how to make things work out. That's I'm glad that you're getting things in check now. That's awesome. And I want to let folks out there know that you're not on an island. You're not on your own with this. You have accountability. We can provide accountability for you. If you have a goal that you want to reach in 2025, or excuse me, in 2026, that maybe you weren't able to do in 2025, put it in the comments. Let it be known, so that way you can get accountability for it. That way people can hold you accountable. Next time you're in the chat, hey, shoot out a quick reminder, and we'll ask you questions about it. Hey, where are you with this? We'll ask you for a progress report. We'll take you back to school there. Let's see here. Gunny says, oh, that was you already said that comment. Let's see. I just want to be the beacon of hope for those that may be going through it. If I can do it, anyone can. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. I think so many folks get down on themselves, especially with the job market not being able to find something and not knowing, where that next paycheck is going to come from. Um, there's always a way through it, and I'm glad that you're putting yourself out there to be that beacon of hope, man. Because that's a lot of folks need that. A lot of folks need that. Navy Cop says even on your own, the mental hit is different than it is with family because the support structure isn't there to help you when you are feeling the dread of unemployment. Yeah, I hear that, man. And you know what? I was um I was thinking about this too because I was just recently contacted by this organization about my resume that I submitted, um, and they reached out and said, "Hey, we are looking at you for this other position, which is cool, right? It's better paying and all that stuff, so that's cool. But it got me thinking, like, do I really want to go back to like a 9 to 5? I mean, it wouldn't be a 9 to 5, but I mean, do I really want to go back to that structured thing? Because I am building something. I do have a business that I currently run on the side, and it's several things that I have going in that going on that bring in a monthly income. Um, but do I really want to get into something like a 9 to 5 thing? It has to be the right thing for me, right? It has to be something where my heart lies, and that's veteran assistance, veteran help, stuff like that, or military civilian transition stuff. That is where my heart lies. So unless it's something like that, I'm being very selective here. And I'm not just going to jump into anything else because that is one of my goals in 2026 is live and work with intention, not just whatever comes onto my plate. Be very selective of who I allow into my life and what I allow into my life. Let's see. Oh, we got Detroit Gunny. What's going on, dude? You're on mute. Let's see. I'll let him figure it out real quick. There he goes.
Hey, here we are. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out the other live stream. So
No, all good, man. Yeah, so I'm glad you brought up the stuff. You're bringing up what you're bringing up, like being the beacon of hope and all that for folks out there, because I think that's a very necessary thing. A lot of folks don't have direction or don't know where to go after military life, and shit, yours truly included. I was kind of lost, trying to go all over the place, getting every certification I could to be marketable in everything that I could be. When in reality, if you're everywhere, you're nowhere. So I'm glad that you're bringing that up, man.
yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I've done just about anything and everything I could from retirement on. Going on, like I said, 6 years of retirement. I did onward
Hmm.
opportunity. I did 4 block. I've done uh, the Hang Our Heroes program, and then you know one constant that was always there was the Veteran Bear Club. And for me,
Yeah, yeah.
um, I've had guys that and gals that I've met along the way that have, truly listened,
Hmm.
and that to me that helps to where it's not therapy, but it's someone else that gets you and understands you, and even if it's just a word of support, and it may not even be support enough to where, oh, it's going to land you a job, although that's something they do pride themselves on as being a network to help veterans in need, whether it's employment or otherwise. So um, I've had individuals support me with their words, and for me not to give up. And I can name drop probably about a dozen people in here right now, and then but I just want to be one of those guys that do that for someone else, because in the military we always took care of our own, took care of our juniors, and then
Right.
in the end it's like, oh, who's going to take care of you? If you don't do it yourself, then no one will.
Hmm.
But now that you're out, you have I feel like I'm one of those seasoned, staff NCOs of the retiree group, of the veteran group, to where, you know, I need to help those that are, starting to get out right now and figure out a way to do that. So, but you can't do that if you're not taking care of yourself first and foremost. A lot of it this morning has been about health, and I recently went to my annual checkup, and I get the community care for the free medical acupuncture and cupping and
Hmm.
massage, that through the VA provides, which is great. But I had a scare with my fatty liver, or I don't even think it's called that anymore. It's called something else. But you decrease the negative that you take in, and you try to increase your output. But it's hard, man. I still haven't seen
It
the
is.
results yet. I've lost 30 pounds on my own,
Oh, right on,
just
man.
different lifestyle changes, but I've gained 10 to 15 of it back. So it's kind of like, now I need to get over that hump. So yeah, it's tough though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're on the right track, dude. Just like it's on your radar. So at least that's happening. You're not discounting it, you're not looking past it. One thing that you brought up, you feel like you're that seasoned staff NCO now in that organization. Um, what comes to mind is filling your cup before you can pour into others. And I think that that's where you're heading, man. I think that's where you are. You've acquired information, you made the networks, you made the connections, you've learned enough to be able to pour into others. So I think that's key, dude, because you can't be empty and just give empty shit to to other people. You got to know where you stand. You got to be able to fill their stuff, fill their
Oh
minds
yeah,
and
trust
with
me.
knowledge.
At a lot of the events I've been to, you get a lot of empty calories, and I I don't like to talk just to talk.
Right,
If I'm going to say something, I want it to have meaning behind it. I want it to mean
right.
something, and you know, there's plenty of those out there that just like to hear themselves speak, and they may be giving bits of knowledge and nuggets and whatever, but at the same time, you hear their stick over and over again, and you see it in action, and you're kind of like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to
Yeah.
be, the guys that I like I said, I could name drop, like a Jay Garcia or Jeremy
Mhm.
Vellin or others down the line that you know uh, that truly, you know, when you talk to someone and you can tell that they're invested in what you're saying, or or they're actually listening and hearing what you're saying, and then they give you
Yeah.
the feedback that you kind of need. That's what I'm really kind of looking for, as far as being able to do that for somebody. Now, I may not be the one that's going to get them the actual, job, or put them in, a situation, but hopefully maybe I can, you know, at least, oh man, I heard about this, and I remember that that person said that, and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. Like, someone was talking about, they're in the cybersecurity, and I don't know what jobs they've looked at, but I just know the organization that I work for now, and just about every organization has cybersecurity. So, if they haven't thought of that, then at least I could point them in the direction where I'm at, and it may or may not be for them, but at least it gives them other options or opportunities down the line.
So you're gonna be the mentor now. It sounds like you're gonna be
Yeah,
the man who your role isn't to find them a job. It's to be the mentor to know how to connect them and teach them how to connect themselves. Sounds like.
yeah, I'm more of a facilitator as well. I mean, I've had great mentors like Henry Gonzalez, and
Yeah.
you know anytime I had a job interview or something coming up, I would reach out to him, and he'd give me that the words that I needed to hear to give me the confidence to move forward, knowing that I'm not in over my head or something like that. And you
Yeah.
know, I had a coach from the Wounded Warrior Project, and again, he used a little bit of those AI tools and helped along the way, and did some, some. It's almost like having a competence coach without having to pay for it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I
would
get it.
never, look at this as a means to make monetary gain, although there are those out there that do that. So,
Yeah,
again, to me, it's just, it's that being that listening post, and then providing, the words of encouragement, and then the knowledge, knowing that, hey, there's organizations out there that can assist with this or that or the other, or I know someone that works in that industry, or I know someone that knows somebody type thing.
yeah, absolutely. So I've not been to many of those groups you mentioned, the beer club. I've not been to many. I mean, they have them around my area. I just I don't know. I haven't been. I've been to a couple, and it's always like I always end up showing up a little bit late, and it's like they've already done what they got to do, and people are just kind of talking. I've seen few familiar faces out there, but I guess I might have to hit up some more of those. Yeah. So I like that, man. What you bring to the table, like helping others kind of find their way, because the whole. I mean, you as well as I know, like it's. Well, I'll put it like this: I was very excited when I was going to retire. Very excited. I was like, okay, well, the opportunities are going to be coming at me like crazy, right? Like everybody's going to want me, and then there's the whole like in reality, the reality hits. Damn, man, I'm submitting my resume. Do people actually want to work with me? And then like the whole depression thing, and I don't know if you've gone through all that, but I mean, it definitely hit me after a while.
No,
And
yeah,
this was like,
definitely. Yeah, the ebbs and
yeah,
flows, the ups and downs. It just,
yeah,
you're on top of the world at one moment, and then the next moment you're, seems like you're back at ground zero. And like I said, I've had success right off the bat. I've had transitions, in between, and I've had failures, along the way, and it's humbling because, like you said, you go through 20 years of
hmm,
service, and you make rank, and you have accomplishments and awards, and a lot of times it feels like you're just doing your job. In the civilian world, you can just do your job, and it's not enough. So, next thing you know, you're back, you know, looking through the LinkedIn job post board, job notifications coming in, and that's where it's like the hardest part of being out, because a lot of times, like you said, you feel like you should just be getting hand over fist offers, and left over right. Like, we're the veteran, we're the ones that have the experience, we're the subject matter experts, etc. Down
yeah,
the line, and it does take a hard wire brush to be humbled to realize that there's hundreds, if not thousands, out there that can do the same exact thing that you do, and it maybe
that's it.
even better. So it's like, how do
That's
you
it.
make yourself the best you? And like, we always hear the phrases, "Oh, bloom where you're planted," etc.
Hmm.
There's all those catchphrases in the military to uh, kind of like boost our egos, to say, "Oh, we're gonna,"
Right.
basically make a sit sandwich taste good or whatever. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of going on different tangents or whatever. But
No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
the main point is to realize what your deficiencies are, and then how to grow from them. How to
Hmm.
use that growth to catapult to what you want to do. And that's a lot of times when I go to the veteran beer club. There's individuals that don't know what they want to, they don't know what they want to do. They're like, "Oh, I'm a surface war officer, or I'm a nuclear this, or I'm a, you know, I did artillery." And it's like, you have all these different jobs that
Hmm.
they may not relate to civilian workforce. So now you got to figure, how do you leverage your leadership, that which you know obviously you're a leader, you've been in for X amount of years, and you did this, that, or the other. But how do you use that to get to where you want to go. And if you don't know where you want to go, I mean, that's the first step, is figuring out what you want to do and where you want to go. And, for me, when I first got out of the Marine Corps, I was doing Hiring Our Heroes corporate fellowship program with Amazon. I just figured I'd work for the biggest company in the world. Like, who wouldn't
Right.
want to do that, right? And then at the end of it, I didn't get a job offer. So that was my first failure. But
That
within
was Skillbridge.
that was, it wasn't quite SkillBridge. It was the fellowship program through the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Chamber of
Okay.
Commerce. So
Yeah.
they do have a separate SkillBridge, though. Yeah. But so you don't get the job offer, you get your first failure. What do? I mean,
Hmm.
within that first month, I had two job offers. One of them was kind of on my own, just LinkedIn applied, and it just happened that the general counsel, the lead lawyer for the company that I applied for, was from the same area I was from.
Mm.
So it helped
Yeah.
that being that he was from suburbs of Detroit, so was I, and we kind of clicked and linked. You know,
Yeah.
at the same time, I got a job offer at a what's called NavNet. It's the Navy networking breakfast that goes the third Friday of every month at Admiral Baker, and they've been
Hmm.
around even longer than Veteran Beer Club. And just so happened, the first one I went to, there was someone there that was looking for someone to be uh, the Marine representative for the Combined Federal Campaign. Basically, training the Marine representatives on how to facilitate that program, and through
The
a
CFC, the
combined.
donation.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that. I did that for 2 seasons. So COVID actually worked for my benefit. I was able to work two jobs remotely,
Mm.
and without that second job, I wouldn't have been able to have my twins. We had them through IVF, and they basically paid for my kids. So yeah, I
Oh, wow.
mean, that's where like I said, I started out on such a high where I almost felt like not invincible, but like, hey, this is easy. Just I'm
Yeah.
thriving. And um, but I guess that kind of leads to some of the cockiness and some of the arrogance and
Hmm.
not staying grounded. So perhaps had I been a little bit more level headed, I could have prevented some of the things that happen in the future. But you never want to look at your failures as your have them define you, because once you allow your failures to define you, then that's when you go down that dark hole, that rabbit hole that we have way too many go down. And you know
Yeah.
uh, I was fortunate enough to like I said, had that strong family support where whether it was immediate family or my veteran community. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't either have that or they don't seek that out. So when it gets to that point, we unfortunately know what happens. And if I could just prevent one or more, then I feel like then I've given back to all those that have given to me.
And I know that we have crossed paths many times, at like job fairs or like events, things like that. And one thing that I've noticed about you, man, is you are resilient when it comes when you put up posts on there like, hey, still looking for a position, this and that. So there's a level of resilience behind that. And when you get the no, you don't just stop, you keep going. And I admire that. Um, that definitely tells you about a lot about the resilience and the character for the person when they don't stop, when you constantly see them at different events or see them posting about, hey, I'll be at this event, that event, to connect, if only to connect, or for a job fair or something. And that's very good because I think a lot of folks live in that I call it the victim mentality, where it's like, oh, things aren't working out for me and the whole world is caving in on me, and nobody likes me, no job wants to hire me, and that's where they live. And it's like you can't do that to yourself, because you got to do the work, dude. If you're out there putting yourself out there, it's going to work out for you, at some point in time. Not everybody's going to say no.
Yeah, man, it's tough. I can see the other side though. You can see where
Mhm.
it's easy to crawl into that shell and to
Yeah.
isolate yourself and to you know I mean, I've got so many different junior Marines out there that I know a lot of earlier people said about disconnecting from Facebook and stuff, but
Yeah.
had I done that, there may not be two other friends of mine around because they posted something on Facebook and it was a cry for help, and
Yeah.
as bad or negative social media can be at times, it's also still a medium to stay connected and you know you always want to see those that you've served with do well, but
Yeah.
you also want to keep an eye out for those that aren't doing well because it's easy just to say congrats and like a post, but then to do it, to go forward and do more than that, to reach out, and then you may reach out and it falls on deaf ears, but at least that you gave your all to that, and you can't be there for everyone at all times, but definitely, you know, I I'm very thankful that there were so many that reached out to one or two of these individuals that, again, you know, you hear about it, whether it's health or whether it's otherwise, I mean, that's part of being
Hmm.
healthy is the mental. So, um, physically, you hear about people passing and it sucks, that you didn't know that they were even going through something like that.
Yeah.
And then, especially the mental side of it, you definitely don't hear about it because usually
Yeah. Nobody shares all that.
they only reach out when it's the last resort. So, but yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's tough. Like that's one of the things about the end of the year. You always, remember, people that you've, you know, served with or interacted with, and
Yeah.
you're like, damn, they're no longer here now. Whether, like I said, it's, you know, we have, mutual friends or acquaintances that pass, so you
Hmm.
kind of get it, and man, it's like it's way too young, and there's so much life to live, and you
Yeah.
think about who they left behind and everything, and whether like I said, it's physical or mental or whatever. It's like, man, you gotta really appreciate what you have, and use that as a catalyst, if, to move forward. And if it feels like you don't have anything, that's when there's always something. There's always something to go on for. There's just one thing, and uh, so if I could try to find out that what that one thing is for somebody, and helps them, then that's you know and then I feel like I'm doing a service to those that served me. So
Absolutely, man. And I think I've talked a lot about it on this channel as well for the live streams, especially around this time of year, like the holiday season, about how it could be tough for some folks, veterans, or it doesn't matter if you never served. It could be tough because a lot of folks don't have like the family around. Um, it really hits you mentally. So I was always pushing out like the 988, and always advocating for the buddy checks. Call somebody. I still keep in contact with a lot of folks through folks I deployed with through WhatsApp. They've all since left the Marine Corps. None of them, I think the ones I keep in contact with, none of them retired. They all like kind of left the service early, but still keep in contact with them. Just a WhatsApp message like, "Hey, Merry Christmas. How's everybody doing? How's the family?" Just kind of checking up, because you don't know what situation people are in. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, we've lost, we have mutual friends, some of which, we've lost in the last couple of years. One of which, you know, was writing some stuff on Facebook recently about some craziness happening in their life, um, like a month ago. So, you never know what somebody's going through, and it's good to reach out every so often, do the whole buddy check thing. And I definitely plan on bringing that into the next year as well, because that doesn't stop. That doesn't stop, and I'll continue doing that until the old, however old I become. Lord willing, I continue living into my 80s or whatever. We'll see. But I like that. I'm gonna look at. You said Navnet was the thing that you mentioned, Admiral Baker. Navnet.
Yeah, that's the third
Navnet.
Friday of every month. It's I think it's $25 now for breakfast, and then the main purpose is to bring employers in that are looking for work, and then transitioning veteran or transition service members and or veterans that are looking for work go there. So,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah, and it was it's usually like an older, mainly Navy, but there's always Air Force and Army, and even I mean there's Coast Guardsmen that go there. It's a good mixed bag, and I think this last one I went to, there was almost 30 or 40 people there. So it was like
Oh,
it was
wow.
one of the bigger, and I was surprised because it was the holidays, but they're going under a new leadership.
Mhm.
The main guy's kind of stepping back, and Maurice Wilson is taking over, and he's done the Navy reboot.
Mhm.
That organization, he's run that for quite a while, and they've done like seminars, and they were doing like 1 day workshops or 2 day workshops, and they were doing like week-long seminars. And so Navy Reboot is another good tool for those that are looking to transition from the service. I'm not sure how many people know about it, but their programs are something that Marines could probably get like a day of PTAD or a week of
Yeah.
PTAD to do that. So but Maurice Wilson's a great guy, and so Navnet I think is going in the right direction to cater to not only the I always call them like those old red hats,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
they just come out for the cup of coffee just for the camaraderie type thing, but
Mhm.
and like you said, maybe one day that'll be me, just just showing up at events just to kind of remember those days or whatever. But uh, whether it's 10, 15, 20 years from now, I would love to be the old crazy, crusty Detroit gunny that oh, he's been around forever, type thing. To me that would be pretty awesome. To be one of the older guys in the group to that some of those young guys might look over and say, "Who's this crazy old dude over there?" But
You, you,
we
you
have
you
one.
tell me they don't already say that?
Not quite yet. I have a little bit of salt and pepper in the beard, but just wait till it's fully white. That'll be something else. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, now we got a couple guys like that in the BBC, like, or at least the one up
Little
here
crusty
in
dude.
Temecula Valley. This old guy, man, he's awesome. Like, uh, so it's kind of like you go to these events, and a lot of times you have to find you can't go into it with a preconceived notion of like, oh, I'm going to go to this event, I'm going to find a job, and I'm going to make a connection for this or that or the other. I mean, just
Right.
go into it open minded, and take out of it what you feel you need, and if it's not for you, then move on to the next thing. There's always something else out there. And but I think they mentioned it earlier about entitlement, uh,
Mhm.
and like expecting things to be handed to you.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
never
That's not happening.
going to happen. So
Yeah.
unless you actually go out and do it, and go for it, it's yeah, you have to be actively pursuing, and and if I could at least provide them with things to pursue as far as different um, programs or organizations,
Mhm.
then like I said, the Veteran Beer Club might not be for you, especially if you stop drinking. So it's like you can still attend an event and not drink, but you know hell, in the Temecula Valley area, we have a veteran whiskey club, and we
Yeah.
just have a newly founded veteran wine club
I
being
was going to
in
say
Tem-
Temecula.
yeah,
You guys don't have a
yeah.
wine club? Yeah.
No, yeah, we just started it up. So, we're trying to, um, Veterans Beer Club, for those that don't know, is a 503c now.
Hmm.
So that's going to be, huge going forward for the growth of the organization. And, you know, there's tons of different charities out there that if you want to get active and giving back. And
Yeah.
because I think that's one thing that, as we leave the service, that's one thing that gets kind of like misplaced is our service to others. We serve for 10, 15, 20, whatever years, and now you're working, and your service is not to your family, but how do you continue to give back to your community, whether it's locally, or you know it could be the veteran community, it could be your maybe it's your ethnic background of, like, you know you want to give back to the Latin Americans, or you know I come from a mixed background. I have a blended family and such. So I mean, there may be certain things that are important to you. So you just have to find it, and then if you give, I feel like if you give back to one organization, a year, whether it's that organization fully, it doesn't have to necessarily be monetarily either. It could be time. It could be
Yeah.
you know
Voluntary and all that.
whatever it is. So or maybe say, okay, I gave back to this organization last year. Maybe I can do two this year. Maybe I can split my time between this one or that one or another. So, um, to me, that's, you know, your charity may be your time to your kids too. So, you give all that time in the service. Now it's like, hey, I want to devote that time, to what I've missed. So, that's one of the drawbacks of, like, okay, I retired. I got, a check, and I got a disability check. Okay. But now I live in California. I still need to work, and that work takes away that time that you
Yeah.
thought you're going to have with your, family and kids.
Right.
So it's like, man, it is a balance. But the first company I worked for, they called it a work-life integration, and I really
Hmm.
enjoyed that phrase and saying, because they embodied that. They allowed you to, of course, it was COVID, so we worked from home, and there's a lot of times where you were a little bit flexible in what you were able to do as far as, like, appointments and such. As long as you got your work done, it doesn't, I mean, I would get emails on, Saturday night or Sunday night, and my attorneys would tell me, hey, don't worry about answering on the weekends. That's just us. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, but yeah, I mean, work life integration. How can you, integrate your life and your work to where you're not overcompensating on one or the other, or the balance of the scales isn't going too far one
Hmm.
way or the other. So I mean, yeah, it's a tough task, and then, like you mentioned earlier about goals, it may be like, hey, I'm 60% work right now and 40% family. How do I balance in that? And then, like you said, figure out and how to do it, and how do you track that? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to think about.
It is. It is. And I've always been on the fence about that whole phrase, work-life balance. I mean, you brought a new flavor to it, work-life integration. But I've always been on the fence because it's always like, hey, when I'm at work, it's work. When I'm at home, when it's like my life with my family, it's family time. And I try not to let those things bleed into it. So I've heard it and I've taken classes on it. I've been giving classes on it. People have been talking to me about work-life balance for so long. I mean, especially in the military is kind of tough, right? That's where it comes into play a lot. But after the fact, when I was, I got a class on work-life balance after I left the military in like federal work. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, if I'm a civilian now. If you email me after hours, don't expect me to respond during that time. That's my family time, you know. So I got work and I got life. Work-life balance is more so military, where you're on the call 24/7. After
Yeah.
the fact, work is work, life is life. So I've always kind of been on the fence with that phrase.
Yeah, that's one of the drawbacks of if you take employment with the well, the former DoD. I guess it's a DOW now, but yeah,
The
if you
dough.
yeah, if you go back into the oh, I'm just gonna get a job, GS, whatever,
Mhm.
and working for ABC Command or whatever. Yeah, they feel like, oh, you're former military, so you're just gonna
Yeah.
keep that cell phone on you for 24/7 or whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, so it's kind of different now that got the federal government job with Border Patrol, so it's like
Oh yeah.
not they know that you're there during the hours you work and you go home. There's no like, yeah. Now, do I get emails from my supervisors on the weekends? Or do I get cases added to my workload on the weekends? Yeah, because that's what they choose to do, but they don't expect it
Mhm.
from uh,
Right.
their paralegals or
You ain't paying me
subordinates.
overtime now.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah, they're not approving overtime. Yeah, that
no.
was one thing too. When I was when 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 I entered the federal service, I entered as a GS-13 supervisory, um, a supervisor, right? Probationary supervisor, and it was like probationary for 2 years, whatever. I went into work. I didn't care about any of that stuff. I'm like, look, I just want to work. I thought, getting into the federal government was like my foot in the door type of thing. Like, oh, yes, I can only go up from here, right? 13, 14, 15, whatever. But yeah, man, you're not lying, dude. The amount of emails that I would get from the higher ups, right? From the bosses and all that on the weekends, after hours. I'm looking at my phone because I had one of those government phones. I'm like, dude, do y'all ever go home? Like, or are you working from home? Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not answering this stuff until tomorrow. Then I get the crazy calls like, hey, I won't be into work tomorrow and I won't be. And then I had this one lady who called in like 3 or 4 times in a row, called in sick. And I'm like, look, and there was like a lot of pushback because nobody's ever held this person accountable for her stuff.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, per the order or whatever, I'm going to need to see a medical shit or something from a medical doctor saying that you're legit like sick after 3 days of calling in sick. And they kind of went around me to another supervisor. It's like, why is he asking me this? I'm like, well, I'm asking because that's what it says in the paperwork. And I'm not starting this shit off, just letting people off. So it was a little tough, man. The whole trying to wrap my head around that whole thing. Bless you. Trying trying to wrap my whole head around that whole now I'm a civilian, but I'm getting emails and stuff, and I got the government phone and a lot. The contractor piece is a lot easier. I'll say that. You're kind of like OFP, right? Your own freaking program. You're not actually part of the unit, but you do the work. You go home after. You don't have those requirements to go to these meetings and all that stuff. So it was a lot easier to be a contractor, I found.
Yeah, it looks like Charlton had a pretty good comment there.
Say, I'm leaving behind in 2025 all my restraints on offending civilians who never served by my speech on politics, patriotism. All right. Going full hog there, huh?
Yeah. You should never have to apologize for who you are, And the
Yeah.
thing is like, regardless of what spectrum of the rainbow you're on, so to speak,
Mhm.
left, right, or indifferent. For me, it's like just be yourself, and if I see something I don't like, I just kind of put my blinders on, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's a crazy, crazy world out there. So I mean,
Yeah. But what I found here, man, is, and I have it on my list here, is to not get pissed off over everything because I cannot control everything. Right. And I think
uh,
somebody put it, I had a live stream not too long ago and they mentioned like, I think it was Georgia Joe that mentioned it. He was saying, everything that's going on in the country is concentrated in one little corner of the country, right? When I look out my window, I see one of the neighbors walking their dog, the other one across the street, trimming their bushes or whatever. Life as usual, life as normal. And I can't let every little thing outside of the realm of my control piss me off to the point where it starts to affect me. So that's one thing I'm letting go is in 2026. I mean, shit, I already let it go this year is stop letting things out of my control piss me off because it's not good for this.
Yeah, I mean, I work in a cubicle when I can't see my other coworker that works in his cubicle, and I can't see the other
Yep.
one. So it's like
Yep.
I'm in my like bubble there, and like between the cubicles, we're like, "Oh, did you hear about this? And you hear about that?" And I'm like, I tend, I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad or whatever, but I'm kind of indifferent to the news sometimes. So again, I used to always say I'm more concerned about the four walls of my house than anything else. And again, like you said, you could look outside and people are walking their dogs, tending to the yard, and I drive through the neighborhood that I live in, the community that I'm in, and you know, I'm fairly happy. I mean, obviously, I see stuff that I don't necessarily like, but I just kind of have to just drive past it. Like I can't get wrapped up and upset about it because that's how they feel. I feel a certain way, they feel a certain way. You got if you get that bent out of shape about it, and I used to, I used to get into like Facebook and Twitter wars and this, that, the
Yep.
other, and I'm like, man, it's just not worth it. It's like, what did you achieve? Really, you got your point across on the screen, like, and that person on the other side of the screen don't care. you
Yeah, they
know,
don't care. They're going to continue living life as they usually do.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. All you did was you felt good about your last post, and that was about it.
Oh, I got the last word
Yeah.
in. Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
okay.
I've gotten that too. I felt that it's a big reason why I jumped off all that stuff. Like I can only access Facebook and like even Instagram off of my desktop only. Took it completely off the phone. So that was like a weight lifted off the shoulder, dude. Because the amount of like dead scrolling I was doing was insane, man. Like you get you can see how much screen time you had on there. I mean, mine has significantly dropped to like 2 hours or something like that. It used to be like 10. Like I'm just always on that shit, and I'm like, what am I doing? What am I actually doing here? Like
Yeah,
I've wasted so much of my life staring at this thing.
yeah. I go through ebbs and flows with like social media, screen time, and like you know, my wife loves TikTok for a while. She was giving me all the damn TikTok videos over and over and over again. So I'm glad I've never like doom scrolled that or whatever it was. But um, you know, um, I don't know. I just kind of
I'll
I
tell you,
see what people
TikTok
post.
is.
Yeah, I see what people post sometimes. I'm just kind of like, just turn
I
like
went through a recent doom scrolling episode on TikTok, and I just put in I put in 100% VA disabled in the
mhm.
search bar, and I was honestly surprised at what I saw on there. And I don't I assume that what you see is like everybody kind of flaunting their VA disabilities on there, and
Mhm.
that prompted me that I
Mm,
kind of spiraled down that thing. I was like, "Are you kidding me?
that's
Like people are doing this?"
I never heard about that. I mean, I've been part of a veteran a VA 100% group on Facebook where people say, "Oh, I got 100%," and people congratulate them. And but I don't know about flaunting. Like that's kind of weird. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
It's nothing
So
to
I
flaunt.
looked
It's
into it.
like I feel like I get up every day and I have pain, so I feel
Yeah,
like it's warranted, and that's what it is.
yeah,
I get my free dental and free vision, and you know, you know, it's my healthcare. So I mean, they take
yeah.
care of me after putting 20 years online. So you know, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
weird
Exactly.
to flaunt that, you know, that's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and it was strange because it's a lot of the flaunting, like it was like a lot of younger folks, maybe like
Hmm.
in their 20s,
Yeah.
and they're dancing on the screen. I got my 100% VA or whatever. And I'm like, maybe this is not the message we want to send out, especially since everything's kind of highlighted, hyper elevated in the government right now with
Yeah. I mean,
veterans benefits.
it kind of takes away from those that, you know, need and you know, I don't want to say
Yeah,
deserve, but you know, they definitely probably need more compensation that they're getting, you know, whether it's monetarily or you know, actual care from the you know the VA or other you know otherwise. So I mean, you know, I feel like if you serve 4 years, you probably have an ailment that deserves a rating. You know, whether it's 100%, that's not for me to decide, but you know, it depends
right.
on
Yeah.
you know what it may or may not be. I mean, I've had um, you know junior Marines get out medically retired, you know, for one reason or the other.
Hmm.
Um, you know, who am I to say whether their ailments were real or fake or you know cheating the system? You know that you know I guess that right there is kind of like one thing that I you know had to get away from was comparing myself to others and what they receive or what they get or what they
Right.
earned or achieved or you know whether it's the VA, whether it's you know job opportunities or whether you know whatever it is. You know, the more you compare yourself to others, the greater the risk of letting yourself down. So, um, you know, just compare yourself to yourself. You know, like you said, have the goals, set the goals. You know, have metrics to measure the goals and to you know for your achievements and stuff like that. But you know, if you constantly look at what your neighbor has or whatever, that's the old keeping up with the Joneses type thing.
Yeah.
You know, you set yourself up for a rude awakening, and you know that's the failure right there. Is comparing it like, what good would it be for me to compare myself to you, you know, or vice versa? Here's Boston Rob. You want to put his up?
Yeah. Yeah. Boston Rob, welcome back, dude. He says, late start. I'm leaving behind undue pressures that I held for myself while retiring this year. Now that I'm fully invested in the joys of being retired, I'll take opportunities in stride in 2026. Oh yeah, I love that, dude.
That's a
I love that.
great mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think you brought up a good thing, man, about keeping up with the Joneses, and I think about this a lot. Like, you know, I'm sure we've all heard it. Your level 2 is not equivalent to somebody else's level 10, right? So when they're ahead, when they're, you know, maybe they got they started a business and you're like, damn, how that guy started so quick. Or maybe I've done this a lot when comparing like my YouTube channel to others. I'm like, man, how'd that guy get, you know, 80,000 or 100,000? And I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, I'm also not putting out as many videos as this dude. I'm also not like concentrating on just that one little niche and all that stuff. I've got a different flow than this person does. Don't try to be that person, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you just saying that right there because that's one of the things. Like when I was unemployed, this past year, I had someone say, "Hey, you know, you talk about what you want to do. Sounds like you already know." And one of the things was to get into, you know, this, you know, the podcasting realm, or,
Yeah.
and I just didn't feel like the timing was right to, you know, fully invest in that. And even though I think I could possibly do well with it or succeed on whatever measure of success that might be for me, but yeah, I mean, I've seen others, you know, take it to different. And I guess the reason why I felt like it's something I could do is like I see people doing it, and I'm like, oh, they're just normal people, so like I can do
Yeah.
that. You know, there's always those things of like, well, this person's doing this or this person's doing that, and you see them do it, and you're like, oh, I can do that or whatever. But
Hmm.
then you don't realize what the actual work is to do it. You know, you start looking into like the investment, the uh,
Yeah, the time investment and
exactly, like if you're not willing to actually like, okay, have a plan, then uh, it's kind of like, you know, it's easy to say what you're gonna do. It's a
Mhm.
lot harder to actually do what you're gonna do, and it's almost
Yeah,
best to do what you're gonna or say what you're gonna do, keep that unsaid. Just do what you're gonna do, and then let others see it down the line. Because a lot
yeah,
of times you say things, and if you don't follow through, that's when it feels like, oh, now I'm the failure because I didn't do what I said I was gonna do. I didn't do what I set out to do. So it's kind of like a lot of times you have to, walk quietly.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get it, I get it. That's one thing, eh, one thing it's hard to wrap my head around when I go to LinkedIn. I just have LinkedIn right now to check out jobs. On occasion, I'll, like, look at people's posts. It doesn't really spark my interest too much, and sometimes I'll put something out there like, "Hey, we're doing a live stream," or something like that. LinkedIn to me has become something of "Hey, look what I've done. Look what I'm doing," type of thing, platform. And more so now lately, it's becoming like a glorified Facebook where people are posting their opinions about things and pictures and this and that. And I'm like, well, what am I looking at exactly here? So it's just I can't wrap my head around that. Um, I, that's why I've stopped going on it so much. Like I go on it for like the veterans coffee thing, right? But I just can't get around. Hey, this is it's an environment of look what I've done. And I get it if that's like an accountability thing. Like, hey, I'm telling people what I want to do or what I'm going to do because I want to be held accountable. But I guess I'm curious about your thoughts on LinkedIn and
yeah. I
how
mean, it,
what it's becoming.
yeah, it's funny because I think I got a thing like the year in review type thing, and it says when you first joined. So I think I
Yeah.
joined like almost 20 years ago. It's crazy. I joined before like it actually started to blow up, and I'm not even
Hmm.
realizing what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Obviously, I left it dormant for a long period of time, but um, yeah, there's definitely a shift from when I first retired in 2020 to today. A lot more personable or personal things get posted, which,
Yeah.
hey, why do we work? We work to provide for our families. So, our families are actually, part of like what we do and why we do it. So, I don't get too turned off by it where it's like, oh, it's more Facebooky type thing.
Hmm.
Uh, one thing that did kind of turn me off was the constant spam that I would get during my job search. That was very disheartening. To you have someone that you post that, hey, I'm looking for this, or I went to this, and all of a sudden you have all these spam commenters about, oh, send me your resume, do that. And you look and you find out, and it's like, yeah, it's fake. And
Yeah.
almost
I get
almost
a
get
ton of those, dude. I hate that.
almost get scammed, again. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, damn, it's almost like you're afraid to post because of the scammers out there.
Hmm.
I haven't updated my LinkedIn with my new position. I don't know if I will or won't, but um, it's kind of like the last time I updated, the two times I updated my LinkedIn, to say, hey, I got this job or that job, I was scammed within 24 to 48 hours.
When you say scammed, what do you mean? What does that look
Well,
like?
well, the first one they kind of cloned my boss's phone
Hmm.
number or phone. It looked like I got a text from him asking me to buy phone cards for a presentation. It's like a giveaway type thing.
Oh.
And
Oh.
I sent the text, like I bought them and sent them the numbers, and I sent the text to my boss. Like, hey, I'm gonna get compensated for this. He's like, I didn't send you that.
Oh. Shit.
So
Oh no, man.
luckily, Fed gave me my money back. But like, yeah, it was crazy. So I got scammed easily. And I guess I'm gullible or whatever. But
Yeah.
the second time was a call. They called and told me I had a bench warrant for missing jury duty. And yeah, and it was like, I'm like, no, I didn't. I never got a summons. What are you talking about? Like, it was so
Yeah.
weird. And they try to get me to like, oh, you have to go turn yourself into the jail. You have to send us this bail money, or otherwise you're gonna stay in jail. And it was like, he said he was a sheriff. Yeah, I was like, I just started my job, and I was like, it was weird. It was a very weird thing. I looked it up
Yeah.
afterwards, and
I'd say
sure
so.
enough, yeah, and they're like, oh, they try to keep you on the phone the entire time, and like they threaten you with,
Hmm.
like, you know, my wife's like, you're such an idiot. This is the second time you got, scammed, blah blah blah. I'm like, you
Well,
know,
now you know better,
but
dude.
luckily I didn't. Luckily I wasn't able to send any money, so I was like, there's
Oh,
no
well,
way.
good,
But
good. But
but
they attempted. The attempt was there.
exactly, yeah. So then like it was
That's
funny because
crazy.
like I would get texts all the time. Hey, you're working. You still hey, this is so and so. You know, is trying to be my boss again, trying to get me to like. I'm like, so it came to the point to where I was like, oh yeah, I've already contacted the police, or I've contacted the
Right.
FBI, or I said, oh, not today, ISIS, and shit like, I would just text back like dumb shit like that. But after a while, you just block it, and so that's why I don't want to post, my new position, because I know I'm probably gonna get some type of scam.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see why, man. Real quick,
So,
I'm gonna bring Mario Mosen on the line.
oh yeah,
He's been on here before. Give me a second. Mario, what's going on with you, man?
They try to
The ba-
scam you, huh, buddy?
the
yeah,
battle
Trying
man,
that
begins.
jury duty bullshit on you. Oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah, man. I was and I looked it up afterwards. I even called like the Riverside sheriff, like, say, hey, do I have a warrant out for my arrest? What's going on here? And they're like, no. Like, I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, man. They tried that nonsense with me, dude, and it was like I knew it was BS because I got a bunch of I live in Kern County, and I went up to the court and I told them, hey, look, guys, I'm a combat vet. I got PTSD. I got TBI. I I would not be a good candidate to be a juror. I told her, is there any way that I can get like a like something where I'm not constantly getting all these jury summons? So they talked to the judge. The judge actually signed a letter saying that, hey, you were exempt from ever being in jury duty or whatever the case may be. So I knew when this guy called me and he pulled that nonsense with me, he sounded very legit too, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I kind of played the game for like 15 minutes, and I just did it because I was like, I'm bored. I might as well play dumb with this guy and see how far he wants to take it. So,
nah,
I,
yeah, I even had them send me a document, so they were able to gin up a document and send it to me via email.
oh,
Like,
they will do that, dude. I mean,
yeah,
these guys are legit. The other thing too is the other scam that I've been noticing a lot too is hey, we saw your we reviewed your resume on blah 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 about some sort of
Mhm.
resume job, about some sort of remote job. That's what they're trying to go for. Any remote job or anything like that, it just doesn't look legit. Like they'll tell you that, oh, you applied for this job, and I'm like, I never applied for that. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? I know what I applied for. So
yeah.
how can you tell me what I applied for, stuff like that? So it,
I
it,
get
it
the
happens, bud. And
yeah,
and
I get
don't
Yeah.
feel
the
bad. Don't
yeah,
feel bad.
yeah.
It's happened to the best of us, bro.
I get those emails all the time where they're like, they end it by saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, my parents met in the city that I'm from,
Yeah.
that
Really
I'm living
try to
in."
build that
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
try to
Oh
build
yeah.
that connection.
Personal connections.
It,
Say, oh yeah, by the
it
way, my parents, met there, and I'm like,
yeah.
okay, whatever.
And my thing too is that, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever Google yourselves, man, but there's so much stuff that people can just get off of you. It is
Yeah,
ridiculous. I've been trying
yeah.
really hard to get my pretty much all my property information off the internet because I get all these damn real estate people trying to call me if I want to sell my house. Look, man, I don't want to sell my house. Stop fucking calling me. Like it gets annoying, bro. It gets
Yeah.
really, really annoying.
I've gotten that
And any
too.
any any
The
address you've ever been associated with, I'll get a call and say, "You want to?" I'm like, I don't even live there anymore. And then like, no, it's like,
Yeah, man.
yeah, they're like, Yeah, I mean, I wish there was a way where you could just start over and scrub zero, but like,
Yeah,
um, you
and
know,
it's sad because nowadays, if we want us, I wish there was a way where we could protect ourselves with having to get some sort of company to kind of like block all this crap, because I know that there's companies out there that will sell you the stuff so that way you don't get all these spam calls
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But in reality, it's a service, and those services are not cheap. You know.
man, one click on a link, next thing you know, they're just
Yeah.
it's like
Uh,
man, I go to Newsbreak. That's like one of the things that I have,
mhm.
but there's so many ads get
Oh
that go
yeah.
with that thing, and it's like
Yeah.
you get a pop up or whatever it is, and next thing you know, it's like whoever's looking for whatever, they're gonna find it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's say you're looking for a watch. All of a sudden, on your Instagram feed, you get like 50 fucking ads for watches. And I'm like, dude, I was just looking at a watch. That does not mean I want to buy a watch
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something
That
like that.
happens, man. They're listening. They're
And
watching what you're
Yeah,
doing.
and
that shit is
it's
so
sad.
crazy. Like, ah, man, you couldn't even think it, and it pops up. I swear to God, I don't know how it
Yeah,
happens that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
Like,
that is very true too, man. That's why I'm kind of like scared about this whole AI shit because I'm like, I'm gonna be like Will Smith and Night Robot, bro. That's how I see it.
Oh
You know what I'm
shit.
saying?
Give me a
I'm
sec,
like,
gents.
yep,
I'll be right back. You guys can continue. I'm gonna just be right back.
yeah, man.
yeah, Mario, where you at?
I'm in California, man. I'm in Bakersfield, bro.
Oh, okay, nice and sunny up there today, huh?
Yeah, man. Where you at?
I'm down in Menifee.
Oh, okay, cool, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
yeah,
not that
yeah.
far from each other.
No, no, that
That's cool, man.
you
So,
guys got.
what are you doing now?
I I'm a paralegal. I work, in the same community as Vic did in the military. So
Mm,
I did 20 years as a paralegal services specialist, aka
mm,
you know paralegal or whatever. And I retired in 2020, and I was a legal ops assistant for a solar energy finance company.
mm,
They were bought by a bank. Ended up
mhm.
learning about mergers and acquisitions the hard way.
Oh
Yeah,
God, yes.
yeah. I mean, I helped with the actual acquisition. I did all the paperwork. I helped do this, that, the other. Hell, I even got a bonus for the work I did to help on the actual acquisition. But
Wow.
when it came time for the merger, I only lasted, I say, like 6 months before they realized I'm
Right.
not doing enough for them to keep. But I didn't feel
Um,
too bad because like out of our 8 people, I think there's only one or two left at the company. So out of
oh,
our
okay.
out of our legal and compliance team. So
Well, the great thing about your skill set, man, is that it's in demand.
yeah,
And
well,
in reality, you could even, pretty much be an independent contractor if you really want to go
yeah,
that
well,
route.
that's what I did. I actually worked for two law firms remotely. I did
Mm.
um, the Camp Lejeune water contamination cases.
Oh, you're
So
doing those, huh?
so I worked on that with a company out of Pennsylvania. The guy that is one of the lead attorneys there. He's a Marine, and his father's affected by it. So um,
Oh,
they
yeah,
partnered with
no.
a larger firm, and so I did that until the end of 2024. But then I restarted it up this year with the parent company back in September. So yeah, just
Mm.
trying to help get these veterans compensated. So, but
No.
and it's funny. Like I think it was 3 days after the government shutdown, I started my current position with Border Patrol as a paralegal. So uh,
So how does that work? Because technically, you can't really sue the U.S. government. So was there like a
yeah,
grant or money given to that, or how's that
yeah.
work?
So like with the Camp Lejeune stuff, if you go back and there's like a long history of it, but basically it was like in increments to where the government basically had to admit that there was wrongdoing, and then from there the VA said
Right.
yeah there was wrongdoing, so we're going to compensate you, through the VA. But then from and it kind of went on top of that to where um, it's almost like a wrongful death or wrongful injury
Oh,
claim.
okay, got it.
So like
Yeah.
it's almost like, let's say you were on base and you got hit by a government vehicle. There's damage to your vehicle, right? So you would do a claim against the government to get your vehicle fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the vehicle is now the person, and the government still, injured you or
Right.
caused a harmful death. So that's
Mhm.
where the individuals were able to file a claim. Um, the way how it gets to the courts is you have to accept the compensation that they offer you. If you're not going to accept that offer, that compensation, then that's where you would have a quote unquote case in the district courts against the government. So there was a God, man, Master Guns. I can't remember. His
Mhm.
daughter's name was Janie, but she died of leukemia like very young, like
Oh my
adult
goodness.
adult leukemia. So it's like something that doesn't happen in kids.
So
And
what was happening in Camp Lejeune? Was it in the water that was contaminated?
yeah, yeah,
And
man.
how was it contaminated by?
Well,
What was the source?
there were multiple ways. You know, at one point there was a dry cleaners that was like right across the street from Lejeune, and they were
Mhm.
dumping their solvents out, and they would get into the water beds and into the water system. And they said that that was their like basically the military used that as their aha moment to where they weren't responsible.
Mm.
But there were other places where they were just dumping waste into the ground,
Good.
and like there were oil leaks and other stuff. So um,
Mm.
it started in the 50s. The EPA wasn't even around yet, and even the
Oh,
Marine
okay.
Corps, kind of there was like an Army Corps of Engineers that did an assessment, and they're saying, oh yeah,
Mhm.
there's contamination, and the Marine Corps was like, oh, it's done by the Army, so they just kind of ignored it.
Do
You
they
know,
not know the Army Corps engineers are pretty much responsible for all the infrastructure in the United States?
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and then and along the way, I was at Lejeune in 2010 to 13, around that time frame, and I would hear jokes about like don't drink the water and stuff. I was like, what are you talking about? Like I didn't even
Mhm.
realize what had happened and the fight that
Right.
people had. There's a couple, like I said, there's a documentary and there's a book. So that's why once I learned about it and I joined a cause, I was like, because you probably seen tons of ads on Facebook,
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. And
and those were
you,
disgusting. Some of those things
yeah.
were like, man, like you get this scantily clad woman, oh, my daddy was a Marine, da da da. I'm like, you may be compensated. I'm like, you're working against a cause by posting shit like that. But
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I was pretty proud to work with the law firm we did. It was more of like word of mouth, and you know it was kind of like you know they did their due diligence in getting clients and stuff. So
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, there was this law firm that hit me up like if I ever had like a head injury while I was in combat that I could call them. I'm like, that sounds like bullshit. I mean, like I got blown the fuck up. Yeah, but isn't that what the military is doing with giving me compensation? I mean, like, what
uh,
would I need to take out even more? Like, you know?
Yeah. Get a double hit
Yeah,
on that.
no, I'm good. I don't feel like losing what I got, you know?
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
You got to reopen your case there, Battle Bean.
no
yeah.
shit,
In the
man.
chat, they're talking about
I'm a little
multiple.
TTD.
Yeah, they're talking about multiple bases that have been uh, contaminated, which is true. And
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
like there's stuff in Pendleton, there's stuff in the army bases around the country. Like, um,
Yeah. No,
I think
there
one of the
is, I
reasons
know.
the only reason you heard about Lejeune is because they took the fight. You know, I can't remember that Master Gun's name, but I know his daughter's name is Janie, and they passed the law
Mm,
to where they can get the compensation because of
Mhm.
her. But
right.
um, uh, yeah, I mean, there's others out there. I know,
Yeah.
and there's other types of
Like when I was over at K Bay, there was a outside the CO's office. There was an avocado tree, and I started picking avocados one day. And this older lady, one of the GSs that works next door, she's like, "I wouldn't eat that if I were you. All these grounds are all contaminated, on the base." Um, I'm like, well, I never ended up eating it, and also
Mm,
I had planted some in my backyard. I lived on base, And then I thought, maybe I shouldn't, because I was watering it with whatever water came out of the hose, right? I'm like, maybe I shouldn't
Right.
eat this trash.
So, I mean,
So
what about if you bathe? I mean, can you still be exposed to a lot of the contaminants too, right?
Oh man, man, it
we'll
is.
find out.
There was they called it like a children's graveyard in the Lejeune area, to where women were losing their babies, in the womb or shortly after, or born with
Oh man,
many birth defects and stuff like that. So um,
wow.
it's kind of like, yeah, you're using the water to make your formula, and yeah, there was all kinds of
Mm,
craziness. Man, I gotta find the book. Let me do a quick Google search, and then
yeah.
I'll post it. And then, um, like I said, there's also a documentary on. I think it's on Netflix still. Uh,
But the water contamination.
yep.
Well, the most famous one I know is fucking Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah, yeah. And the firm that I worked with, they actually helped with that case as well.
It probably doesn't help that the back of Camp Pendleton by Camp Horno has like a nuclear site back there,
Yeah,
the one right by the water.
yeah. So the documentary is called.
Seriously?
Yeah, yeah. The Semper Fi, Always Faithful. It's a documentary.
Mm.
You can watch it on YouTube, Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Google. Hey, baby.
I love you, Dad.
Oh
The
yeah,
thing
baby.
is,
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's love right there, man.
Yeah,
That's love.
a,
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot
I'm
of
not
that
gonna,
that Camp Lejeune
Dad, would you want to watch
area
the
was all
show?
farmland, right? So I
Hey,
went
Dad,
to I was
do
looking
you
through the
want to
archives at
watch
one
the show
point,
with me?
and I found a piece of paper that
Hey, Dad,
says,
do you want
and I
to
still
watch
have
the
it
show
somewhere
with
here,
me?
in a little bit, baby.
that the land was
I
acquired by
love
the
the
government.
show.
It was essentially taken from the farmers that were living out there, and they were paid by the
Mm,
government a fair
Okay.
wage, a fair amount for that land, which who
yeah.
knows what a fair amount was at that time, right? This is like back in
Mm,
like the 30s or 40s or something.
mm.
Then the government acquired that land, so if you're
I know
driving
what they're
through,
doing right
even
now in
through like
Guam.
Camp Pendleton in the back, you can still find like little houses, like huts and stuff.
Yeah, you were telling me about
um,
that.
yeah, that they're not, nobody's living in there anymore, but you can find like these old farmer houses. Camp Lejeune has them as well. But yeah, as you're doing your PT and stuff, you can, like, I'm sitting down, I'm stretching, and there's a bunch of like green onion that's growing there. You can smell it. I wouldn't recommend eating it, but it's growing there. So all these fields of green onion stuff. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
book was called "A Trust Betrayed" by Mike Magner.
Yep.
So you can
Trust betrayed.
you can get that one even on like Apple Books,
Hmm.
or the
Audio.
audiobook. Yeah, that's how I
Yep.
listen to it. And the documentary, it's only about an hour 15 minutes, but it goes through the whole fight of the hardest thing was to get um, the government, whether the military or Marine Corps, Department of Defense, to
Hmm.
admit that they did wrong, and that that it caused it. Like, medical professionals had to come out and say, yeah, like, these ailments and these diseases and these things were caused by the water. And once they got that establishment, like, the preponderance of the evidence says, if you
Yep.
were exposed from 30 days and beyond, then you would, more likely than not, that's what caused your ailment down the line. I mean, there's strict guidelines and stuff like that, and that's more into the medical and even some of the legal jargon or whatever. But yeah, but those two, the Trust Betrayed by Mike Manger, and then the documentary Semper Fi, Always Faithful. Those two.
Yeah, it's good to know, man.
Here's my other one.
It
Yeah,
really
I
is.
got twins. This is my son.
Oh
Say
man,
hi.
Right
Say
on.
hi.
what's up, little buddy? How you doing?
You got everything you want for Christmas?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you
All
That's
right.
good.
Well,
That's
No.
good.
we got company. Like, I think earlier on the other chat, they're saying
Yeah.
how company left. My company's
Yeah.
starting to come in. I got company today, tomorrow, all week next week. So
All right on,
I
man.
should, I
Well, yeah,
should
do
get
your
off
thing,
and
man.
on all morning. But it's great talking with you, Vic. We'll get together soon. Mario,
Yeah.
nice to meet you, brother. And
Nice to
yeah,
meet you,
I
bro.
mean,
Good seeing
I'll
you.
definitely be
And
on Vic's green logbook more and more. And I'm
you
looking
should.
to it.
We definitely need to learn more about your skills as a paralegal in the military, because I'm sure you got some stories too.
Yeah. Me and Vic, we it's funny. We never
Yeah,
actually served together, but we served with a lot of the same people, and
Yeah.
it's funny. Like people always say, did you serve like in combat or whatever? And for me, I did 2 deployments, but it's not about what I saw or what I did, but it's just
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is, JAG is actually very important in the battlefield, and people don't stop and think about that.
oh yeah. I
There's
mean,
there's a lot of you know
Yeah. Rules
right
of
in the
engagement
middle.
type things.
Yeah, rules
yeah,
of engagement.
Escalation of force.
There's
it's like
times I actually had to get the actual JAG on the line because of whatever we found, or what I mean, you do
Mhm.
raids, man, you find a lot of shit. It's like, yeah, it's like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's 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 interesting. Yeah, so there's times I
I
have to
try,
get the
you try not to
JAG on
put
the horn.
yourself like, oh, I did this or that or whatever, but
Yeah, no, we don't,
yeah, no,
but
we definitely saw some things. A lot of times it was on screen or with a paper, but
but
in video,
and
but
then we also got to stop at that. There's a lot of people that do dumb stuff during deployments, man. We all know that.
yeah,
Getting
Yeah.
court-martialed for dumb stuff, bro. I mean,
yeah,
seriously.
yeah. I
But yeah,
mean,
man,
it's pretty
it's great
cool.
meeting you, bro.
Yeah, and definitely, if you're ever down a little bit further south, definitely
Absolutely.
love to meet up sometime. And
Yes, sir.
Vic, like I said, hopefully we seen you at one of the VBCs soon enough.
Yeah, man.
If you want to come up to Temecula Valley, we got a couple different things going on, and bring the wife. Get the Veteran Y Club is we're like I said, we're trying to grow that thing, and but yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's all about keeping the connections, because it's
Yep.
one thing to say you're going to do it, you got to be about it. So follow in the footsteps of Vic, and definitely we'll be there. So
And I'm curious to hear about that potential podcast you're putting out there.
yeah, definitely. I'm like, I got to figure out my time. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
it's I get ideas, and a lot of times you put them in motion. One thing my dad used to always say, it takes money to make money. A
Mhm.
lot of times it just takes time to build things. You gotta.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely does.
So, all right, guys, I gotta go. The
All right,
kids
man.
are all over me now.
Take it easy, man.
All right, later.
Later.
I remember those
Yeah.
days when the kids were little and they're just running amok,
Yeah. Now my kids either the oldest one doesn't want anything to do with me, or the other ones are just like hanging out in their rooms. But
Yeah, man. How you been, bro? Everything good? How was your Christmas?
everything's good, man. Christmas is good, dude. Can't complain. Can't complain. How about yours?
It was good, man. Having the family here was great.
Awesome.
Grandkids are getting freaking big.
Yeah.
Yeah, they grow quick, man. So you gotta enjoy them, because before you know it, they're gonna be like yours. They don't want to hang out with their grandpa no more. They're
Yeah,
gonna be
that's
their
how
own
it is.
thing.
That's
Yeah,
how it is, man. They're gonna be OFP, man. Own freaking program.
exactly,
Yeah.
bro. Exactly, man. So, wanted to kind of touch bases with you regarding um, a little bit about the connections you've kind of gotten so far. Like,
Yeah.
what's been your take on that, or like, where do you see your challenges sometimes when you're trying to make connections with folks like you were talking about last time, that
Mhm.
you make connections with people, as far as like people that work in the VA, or people that work in these big veterans groups, like
Oh, as
what's
far as like actually professional connections, vice personal
yeah
connections.
yeah
Um, So the folks that I've been connecting with are um, mostly people who work within that system, not actually like representatives of that system. I mean, I guess I suppose if you work with that system within like the VA, then you're a representative of the VA. You can't really go on a podcast and talk about the VA inner workings about it, you know? I've not answered any emails or been on my email or done anything like social media wise in the last week. It's all like kind of been family time. But the with the intent with 2026, the intent is to make those connections in an effort um, to interview for one, interview folks within these positions like VA positions or VFW or things like that, and ask them, "Hey, look, what does it take to do what you do? What does it take? Like, give me behind the scenes of what it takes to run this nonprofit, this organization, you know, so we kind of understand where you're coming from and how you are helping veterans and how much of a heavy lift this is." I've got a few folks that I'm looking to connect with, and I may have to travel for this because in order to get that tight personal exposure, I'd like to like walk around with them, talk to them face to face. It's cool to do like the Zoom stuff or like the YouTube stuff, you know, kind of bring it up on the screen. But another thing is sitting down with them in a personal kind of space and talk directly with them like face to face. I feel like I get more out of that a lot of times than I do like on these platforms, these situations. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's been I've been connecting with folks, different organizations. I've gotten a lot of folks who reached out to me recently, coming on their podcast. There's an Army Special Forces officer who is, I think he's still active, who reached out to me about his podcast. It's called Beyond the Trek, and he's building up like this kind of like an organization to uh, for how was it for civilian companies to like show them about leadership and all that stuff. So connecting with him. There's another guy who is a law enforcement officer. He runs a podcast. He wants to connect on that. But it's just a work in progress. I'm not trying to hurry it up. I'm trying to be within my means, but also trying to step it up a few percent in 2026 to make sure that I can expand the network, expand the podcast a little bit, the YouTube channel. Because I do have plans. You know, I don't want to just stay at like 8,000 subs or anything like that. Or actually, the subs don't even matter. It's like the views and all that stuff. I want to put out good content for folks.
Right. It's
That's
just
what
the
it is.
connections that you want to build with those,
Yeah.
because um and I would also tell you, and this is just an advice, but I would tell you whatever you decide to post that it's meaningful, because if you're just putting stuff just to get views,
Oh
in
yeah.
reality you're not really
Yeah.
reaching your audience correctly. Excuse me.
Yeah. I will say that I do ask a lot of questions. I'm very curious as it is. I want to know how things work, why they work the way they do. I've always kind of been like that. So that prompts me to put out meaningful content, right? Like I want to know how your job at the VFW works. Like, and I may ask some tough questions, but I mean, if you're cool with that, we can get into some discussions, and put out
Well, I
meaningful
mean, to
information.
be honest with you, there's definitely a lot of good resources within the BFW. I mean, I mean, I know that if you just reach out to them, they'll be most likely wanting to reach back to you.
Hmm.
Like if you go to the BFW, like the Department of California,
Yeah.
and you go into the officers, you can find these guys' information and stuff like that. I think there's some
Yeah.
that are actually near you.
Hmm.
And these are like, officers that have been there a long time. They know the ins and outs of the BFW. They know the challenges, and they may be able to kind of give everybody a good, um, understanding of it.
Yeah.
The reason why, and this is why I would tell you the BFW is so important, and it's not just the BFW, but it's the American Legion. American Legion has really strong numbers, right? But I also do feel that the BFW does not, and they kind of hurt themselves for a long period of time. The reason why is because, and I know that I don't know if many of the guys out there that are listening to this would relate, but a lot of the Vietnam vets pushed us out. We would go out there and talk to them and stuff like that, or just try to see if we can be part of the post. And in many
Hmm.
cases, they would just shut you down because you got these hardcore Vietnam vets that just are not willing to pass the baton, kind of thing, and it kind of
Mm.
hurt them
Yeah.
in the long run. Now they
Yeah.
have a different mentality because now I'm a junior vice commander with my post, and I'm the only Iraq vet. I mean, I'm pretty much the only officer in my post, and I'm the only one that's an Iraq vet. Everybody else is Vietnam vets. So they're trying to get newer guys to wanna get involved. But like I tell you, especially at the start of the war on terror, a lot of them got pushed out, and it got to a point where a lot of them didn't want nothing to do with the veteran service organizations. Also, the Iraq and Afghanistan organization, I forgot the name, IVA or something like that. They're really good, but I remember at the start of that organization, they were just like, and I understand that you need funds in order for you to run an organization, but they were just a little too aggressive,
Yeah.
and I think it kind of hurt them in the long run. I mean, now they made their name known, and now they're part of a legislative body that's in Congress, but it's something that's taken them a long time. I think the BFW would definitely be a good one. The American Legion's another one. I think those two organizations have prolonged and uh, been in service for so long is because they learn to adapt. They have to adapt. If not, they're
Yeah.
not going to be an organization.
So
Um,
there's I've wondered why the VFW has been losing a lot of memberships, or maybe they don't have as many memberships.
I think you're muted, bro. You muted. I think I lost your audio. Did you hit something? I mean, you can hear me, right? Why don't you refresh yourself and come back in? That'd be my suggestion. Okay. Yeah, but I don't hear your microphone. I hear your laptop.
How about now? Test 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I got you now.
Good. All right. Yeah, something happened there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody about, I can't recall who. It'll come to mind, about how the VA's numbers are kind of going down a little bit, and they have been going for years. And
Mhm.
there's a VFW commander who recently, um, here in Southern California, who recently he took out the bar from the VFW, um, from his post, right? So the idea with that is, the Vietnam veteran uh, folks were more like a drinking culture, right? And nowadays, you won't connect with younger folks over the whole drinking culture thing, right? You have to be able to connect with them in a different way. What that way is, I don't know, because it's you just got to go with the times, right? but I have walked into the VFW here near me. Um, I don't. I'm probably one of the youngest folks there. There's a lot of older folks there, and I feel like they just need to adapt somehow. I think Drew mentioned it here. 100% that the VA will not adapt to GWAT vets, and I wonder like how they can increase their numbers, and that is adapting with the times. How that goes, I don't know, but I just know that this dude took out the bar. I don't know if it's working out for him. He's on my list of folks to get a hold of, but in order to connect to folks a different way. Um, Shit, if it was up to me, I'd throw a freaking podcast studio in the VFW, and then we would just podcast all day with videos and talk about times, just experiences. Because that is like now people are watching YouTube, people are listening to podcasts now. And what cooler way than to hear stories from veterans who are walking into the VFW? Hey, have a seat. Tell me about what you've done in your time, and just kind of stream that, at VFW post or whatever. Could that be a way forward? I don't know, but I just know like I don't drink. I may have like a drink every so often, but
Yeah.
I don't. I'll have like a whiskey or an old fashioned here and there, but I can count on my hand how many like beers I've had in probably two hands in the last year, in this whole year. Right. I'm not a big drinker, so I'm not going to the VFW to go sit around a bar.
Right. I think for a lot of GWAT vets, many of them are still have a career, have a family, and all stuff. So, I mean, if you want to connect with them, it has to be something meaningful. What's meaningful to us, the GWAT vets? I think for us is the connection, is the camaraderie that we had in the military. We just don't have that in the civilian world, and a lot of us long for it, man. A lot of us wish to be part of it. And stop and think about it. Many of us have not. Once we come back from all this, we're not the most sociable people in the world, but this is a way for us to kind of communicate and still be somewhat sociable, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Um, you know, and yeah, well, I think whatever it is that they are longing for, it has to be meaningful, and it has to be something that makes them feel like they are part of a team. I think, I think one of the changes that I've seen in the BFW is that they recently, this past annual convention, they had it was actually very controversial. They
Mhm.
were gonna vote in their national president, and last minute there was like I guess there's a bylaw in the election process, and they ended up changing presidents, and then put him for another vote. And this happened to be an Iraq veteran who's a female from Iowa.
Mhm.
So I think you're seeing it just like we're seeing it. The BFW does need to adapt. It needs to be more meaningful into people's lives. And yeah, and it's not a drinking thing, because a lot of us are not really huge drinkers. I'm not that much of a huge drinker. I might drink 2 3 beers, and after that I'm done. It just I my days of being a partier like in the barracks back when I was in E1 to E4, yeah, those days are over, bro.
Gone, dude.
Yeah, gone, man. So for me, it's more about meaningful connections, and
Yep.
having, and maybe for the younger crowds, maybe they need something like a E club, where they all like freaking do Call of Duty. Oh my god, my soldiers used to drive me insane with fucking Call of Duty, bro.
I
They
mean,
would
I
play
could
that.
do some Call of Duty, man.
Yeah,
I
dude,
could.
they would play that shit for hours, bro. And I'm like, dude, you're doing that every day of your life, and now you're playing this shit? Like, what are you doing, man? And it was like, it was crazy. They would play that or Madden. They would do like Madden tournaments, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
we had some damn good players, man. I don't know, but it was fun. I loved it, man.
Yeah. I could do I remember the Call of Duty parties that we used to have when it first came
Oh,
out.
They were fun though,
And,
you know.
yeah, they were fun, man. And
They were
and
just talking a bunch of smack, you know, and it was great.
we would me and a couple other friends. It was me. I was probably a corporal when that stuff came out, corporal or
Yeah.
sergeant, and it was me, my staff sergeant, and then um, some police officer from like Minnesota. We would always meet up, and then some other dude from somewhere else. I can't recall. We would meet up at the same time on Call of Duty,
Uh-huh.
and it was like after hours, and then just play. Yeah, that was like my
There's
fire
escape.
team, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
that was the escape. It was cool, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and that's all we did. Like when I was deployed to, you had like those little MWR tents.
Yeah.
You can
You know,
get
we
away.
all made our own MWR tent, bro. You think about it. We all bought a TV for the platoon, and everybody had four handsets, you know, and a PS2 or 3 at that time, you know, PS4, and you
Mhm.
go at it, you know, and or
Yeah,
that or Xbox, one of the two,
yeah,
and it
and
was fun.
that was it. That was it, man. And that kind of built the camaraderie, and
Yeah.
it wasn't around drinking for me. Um, like it was, yeah, you'd have your barracks parties, but yeah, you'd have drinks involved and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was like around video games, you know. And
Yeah.
I think that might be like the wave of the future for the
It could be
VFW is like incorporate more video games for
like EE games or
camaraderie.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a
Um,
Call of Duty freaking contest or whatever here
oh
at
yeah.
VFW or something.
I suck at Call of Duty though. Don't even try to invite me for that shit
Hey,
because
but you're there for the camaraderie, dude.
I'm there. I'm there for rooting on for you guys for sure. But yeah, not my. I just hate the guy that gets a bunch of grenades and all he does is throws grenades at people. That's like, dude, you're a coward. Come on, bro.
Or the camper said.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
campers, man. What I used to do in the older Call of Duties, you could
Mm,
find glitches in the system and glitches in the game.
mm.
So I would like hide inside of a rock where nobody could see
Oh,
me, and I
oh,
can see everything else with the glitch and just like
you were just sniping
pick people
people,
off,
huh?
sniping people. They didn't know where it was coming from either. Yeah. Hold on a second. Oh, hey, Mario, give me a second, man.
Yes, sir. Drew, you are so sure, my friend. Yeah, you are right. You can't be cheaper to be entertained at home. But like I was kind of saying, and you said how much stupid shit we did on active duty because of alcohol, dude. There's so much of it, bro. So much of it. I mean, it was fun, and especially when you do something really dumb that all your buddies remember the next day. Yeah, and you become the entertainment person because of it. Yeah, man. Jocko, I love Jocko, dude. Jocko is a very wise person, man. He really is. I think I really love when he gives advice to people, like life advice, not just to people that are in the military, but just in general, man. And I mean, some of the stuff that he says is just right on, spot on. Um, you know, I think a lot of us definitely need to have the Jocko mentality, man. Um, I think a lot of us would probably have a prolonged life because of it. Yep. So I was kind of like, reading some of Drew's comments there. Pretty good stuff, bud.
Yeah, good stuff. And then Navy Cop here, starting to pick up a few links to veteran-based gaming groups and personnel online, some really big groups on nonprofits around the genre. Yeah, I've seen a few myself, and potentially that could be. I don't know if I'm sure the VFW is trying to find some, or these veteran groups are trying to find a way to communicate to bring in more folks from the GWAT era, the global
Hmm.
war and terrorism era.
Yeah.
Potentially, and we were just throwing ideas out there. Potentially, it could be something like video games. Potentially, it could be something like what else did we talk about? Gosh, just a
Podcast.
non-drinking culture.
Yeah, we did
That's
podcasts.
Yeah, the podcasting. Like I mentioned, I would just set up a few couches in the back and just have like a live stream podcasting of like, hey, the day at the VFW or whatever, and
Right.
just let that be an outlet or something, right?
Yeah.
recording
Um,
studios or something like that. Because I would frequent the VFW if they had that, like a legit recording studio,
yeah.
to learn about, cameras, to learn about, audio and all that stuff at the VFW.
And it would be kind of cool, like to have a thing where if somebody wants to remain anonymous, they can still talk. They can still say, "Hey, this is what I'm feeling," whatever the case may be. Have their camera shut off and have like an icon that says anonymous or whatever,
Hmm.
and just let them be like, "Hey, man, this is who I am," and blah blah blah, and this is how I feel. With nobody judging them or anything like that. Because I think that's the biggest problem that we have with a lot of guys is that they don't really um they know what they want to say, but they don't want people to know who they are. Because in some cases, let's stop and think about it. A lot of us, because of our military history and our expertise and what we've done, we become very savvy in the civilian world. Some of us have done really really good for ourselves. And they don't want that kind of stuff being exposed. So they want to remain anonymous. So I think if we create something like that, that would be really cool, just to really really give people a voice without being judged.
Yeah. And real quick, Navy cop, when you mentioned doing a rework in the VFW, what does that look like? What are they incorporating in there for the younger generation potentially? I'm curious about that. Because now, Mario and everybody in the comments, you've sparked something of interest to me, which is connecting with maybe folks from the VFW to incorporate things like these different outlets for younger veterans, for the GWAT generation. I wouldn't even say younger because I'm in the GWAT generation, but I'm not that young, right? I'm in my 40s, but
No, we're,
uh,
we're not young
you,
anymore, bro.
I don't know. But I mean, you throw up a Call of Duty,
Yeah,
game up there or whatever, then
yeah.
I'm jumping on that. I'm going to the VFW for that.
Hmm.
You incorporate a podcast studio or YouTube studio or something like that in the VFW. I'm jumping on that. So
Hmm.
we got Drew here real quick. Drew, what's going on with you?
Hey man, how you guys doing?
What's up, Drew?
Hanging
How
out,
you
man.
doing,
Can't
buddy?
complain.
Yeah, I love the podcast, man. I've been following you for a minute. Yeah, but I agree with everything you guys are
Appreciate it.
saying. I was active duty for 4 years from '09 to 13, and everything you guys are saying is spot on about that. Yeah, I visited the local VFW where I was at, and there's nothing really going on uh, for younger people. I mean, people of the millennial Gen Z generation. It really is
Right.
just our culture. I have my grandfather was in World War II. He was always at the VFW, and that was always that generation, just drinking all the time,
Yep.
always there. And the times have just changed. And I live in a really active state, so I'm really kind of surprised that they haven't adjusted to it. And I think the VFW was created in my state, from what I've read. So in Colorado. I could be wrong about that, but I went to the VFW out here, and I think it was out of business. So
Right.
it's going to be converted into a pizza shop.
And
So
you brought another great point and an idea, Drew. You stop and think about it. So many of us love firearms, stuff like that.
yeah,
Why not create like a firearm club or a hunting club or maybe you don't want to do a hunting club, but maybe let's create something where everybody does like rock marches and just goes to someplace cool and just chills. Like we did this one time. My platoon, we all went out to Padres. Is it uh, Angeles National Forest, whatever. It's here where I'm
Mhm.
at, and we just did that. We just did a little chill, like rock march, and then we set up a camp and we were just talking smack the whole time, bro. Just thinking about reminiscing about stuff like that. So um yeah, I especially coming from Colorado where you're at, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff to do if
Mhm.
you're an outdoors person.
yeah, it's and most of the guys I served with, we're all getting up there in our mid 30s and 40s, and you just can't live that lifestyle anymore. And
No.
it's it gets old after a while. And I live in a big, bar restaurant area, and it's interesting. A lot of the restaurants now are closing down. Well, COVID was kind of the first wave of it, but booze, like just the younger generation isn't drinking. So it's causing a lot of places to go under because people just don't drink as much anymore in general. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, you got to adjust with the times too, man.
Yeah.
That's kind of and I'm glad that conversation was sparked up too, because I've gone to my VFW here, my local VFW, and I've spoken to the people that run it, right? With the intent, my intent of going into the VFW was, for one, to build camaraderie, and for two, to ask them, like, hey, if I want to do maybe like a YouTube interview or something like that, without having to bring somebody in my house, because I'm in my home office right now, maybe we could use VFWs to kind of sit down and have conversations and all that. They're like, yeah, that's fine. And then I went on to ask them, like, hey, how do you all like make money to keep this thing open? Because you're like in a shopping center, right? And you got to pay for this somehow. They're like, oh, we make a lot of our money from the bar. I'm like, well, I don't see too many people at the bar here. They're like, oh, you got to come on a Friday night or whatever, Saturday night. So I did go. And like I said, I was probably one of the youngest ones there, and I'm 42. So I'm like, oh, like, cool to talk to these folks and hear the stories, but I'm like, I couldn't do this shit every week. It's just not me. It's not my culture. It's not my, it's not what I want to do. So I'm wondering, like, how do they advance into the new, I guess, the new generation? And
Change takes time. It takes a lot of time. In these older organizations, they're very archaic in their ways. I mean, look at what happened previously in the last election. I mean, it was all podcasts. And
think about that.
And now all of a sudden you see all these politicians. Trump was the first one to go on and talk on Rogan, and now he kind of had the thing where all of a sudden now everybody's on a podcast. Mainstream media is going away.
It's true, and I think a lot of us find one. I think all of us have lost interest and trust in journalism in general. I think there's very biased. It's like what Denzel Washington says. You just want to be the first, just so you can say you were the first. But are you sure your stuff is right? Are you sure what you're going to say is truth? But you just want to be the first, and that's how it's become lately. And it's also become very scriptured. If you ever notice, I saw this one video where it's basically is the same message being said by 30 different TV stations.
Yeah, and it just gets people jacked up. It's not healthy. It's not healthy to listen to or watch anymore.
No, it's not. I mean, I watch my local news because I want to know what's going on in my community, but I don't watch the national news. I definitely don't watch Fox News because that thing just gives me a headache and I get upset. So I don't watch none of that stuff anymore.
I just separated myself from all the news stuff, man. I'll watch it every so often, like the local stuff.
Yeah, I watch local stuff.
But I mean, just like that dude Georgia Joe said, man, like all that stuff is concentrated in one area of the country. And then when I look outside, I see a lady walking her dog. The other one's doing her landscaping or whatever. I'm like, it doesn't really affect me here right now. So why worry about that right now? Because then it's just an ongoing, circle in my head of, I wonder what's going to happen next. I wonder what's going to happen next if you're constantly watching the news. So I cut myself off of that. And it does feel like a weight lifted off the shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, it's all fear mongering.
Yeah, a lot of it is.
That's how they get viewers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a drug. And plus, I've always seen this too, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it seems like the people that are really into the news, all the time are the baby boomer generation. Maybe
yeah, they are.
They love to watch fear monger. My old
they
man
are, and they buy into that shit so much too.
Yeah. And
yeah,
you just go on a walk, man. Like
that's it, man. Go outside and cut some grass, dude. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah, I don't cut grass no more, man. I got a Mexican dude cuts my grass. I tell him in Spanish, so he does it good. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you know how many times I have to cut fucking grass because Sergeant Major telling me pass this fucking grass. I'm like, fuck that. I got nightmares from that shit. I'm like,
Two of
I'm
my
not-
Yeah.
two of my two of my buddies. I was not in the Marine Corps, but two of my buddies who were in the Marine Corps actually, when they got out, they hired a cleaning lady. They still lived. They rented a house with each other, and they hired a cleaning lady. They're like, we're never cleaning again. We're done.
Yeah, you get the freaking PTSD from all the those field days and all that.
fucking clean latrines and shit. I'm good.
For real. That's good, man. Question for both of you all, man. As far as 2026, what's your big plan for 2026? What do you want to change from 2025 that you want to bring into 2026?
Well, I'm already on this journey, but I gave up booze about 4 months ago.
My man,
So-
awesome, dude.
I want to just keep that going. You feel more productive. You feel better. I was going to cut it out of my life to begin with, but I'm on the older millennial side, so I kind of grew up with it. But now I'm just kind of like, healthier living, saving more money, investing, and being able to get myself on a path where I can get out of the 9-to-5 grind as soon as possible. So that's kind of my goal. Use the
What do
rest.
you want to do?
Use the rest of my
95?
use the rest of my GI Bill and go back to school and just keep on kind of keep moving up. Anything where I can work remotely and kind of have a better work-life balance. So
Yeah.
I don't know yet. Still in the planning stages.
Right on. You're going to be using like post 9/11 or VRNE or anything?
Post 9/11, I got about 4 months left. So there's a couple of things I'm thinking about dealing with that.
Okay.
I got two.
Yeah, I don't know.
I got 2 master's degrees out of it. It was totally worth it. So
Right on. That's good. Just with the post 9/11?
yeah, I found a way to do it.
Oh hell yeah, dude. Yeah, but I'm all ears because I'm starting my master's program here in in like next week. So I'm all ears if I can. I'm using my VRNE
Good.
to knock that one out, and then using the post 9/11 to potentially start a doctorates. Just curious how you were able to do that, the 2 master's degrees.
Well, so before I came in at the height of the housing crash, so there were no jobs. So I just enlisted in the military after I went to college.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing my 4 years, and then I got one done for 36 credits, and then I found out the second one that I could roll in some credits at the same school I went to. So it took me I had about 20 credits left on the second one. So I just decided, screw it. I'm just going to go for it and finish it out. But it opened up a lot of doors for me. So it's just kind of, I think, just finding the right school for you. And, funny enough, I'm a better learner online because I'm an adult learner. So I like doing everything from home.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just keep your head down. Don't quit and get the most bang for your buck. Cause I don't think most employers really care. I really don't. As long as it's accredited, regionally accredited. And, I work jobs where you get veterans preference too. So it helps.
Awesome, man. Yeah, you definitely is the push I need, dude. Just keep my head down and go for it. Because, I'm going into a hybrid program. So I'm having, in order to get like the full effect of the monthly housing allowance, I got to do a hybrid program. Right. So, and here in SoCal, it's like damn near 4,000 a month. So I'm like, I don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but I like sitting in the class, but I'm okay with, I just need that accountability. Like, hey, look, going in the class and not feeling like a fool because I didn't do the homework or something.
Mhm.
I mean, that's like, it's been years since I went to school. Right. But
Yeah.
it's all hybrid. So online / in person. No, good push, man. I like that.
There are some. Geez, I'm sorry. There are some schools that are really good, even though they're online. But they do have good lectures on them. Where you actually see somebody lecturing you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
As long as you can find that, I think you do get benefit out of it. But if you're watching a PowerPoint presentation, you hear this guy with a robot voice telling you all this crap, it's annoying as shit. I don't like it. It's not my thing, man. And that's how it was for my first my when I first got my bachelor's, that's how it was. But then I found a second school, and that one was really cool. You actually would see the professor, and he would do lectures and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it's more eye opening. I wish I could have done everything, in person, but it was really tough, especially especially when you're active duty. It's really really hard. Um, so
I think that most people don't realize who serve the benefits we get. I mean, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
luckily, I had a lot of good mentors, both in and out of the service, who told me like, "Hey, man, like you got one shot to make this count." And luckily, I hated their advice and didn't have hiccups along the way. So I'm glad I listened. But yeah, that benefit is amazing.
yeah, but you said key word. You listen.
Yes,
That's
they listen.
the key word, buddy.
I was a little bit older when I went in, so I think
That's good. That's
Yeah.
you were very smart because of that, man. That's for sure.
Dude,
As far
not a
as
day goes by where I'm not like thankful for having served. And
no, there's nothing like that, but
yeah,
nothing
there's
like that.
nothing like that, man. Not a day goes by where I'm not like, damn,
Oh no,
this all this stuff is
I
paying for the mortgage, is paying for school for the kids, and it's amazing, dude.
yeah, no, it was really really good. I would not change anything I did in the military or why I joined the military. I think it was probably the best move I ever made in my life. I just felt that it made me a better person and a wiser person in the long run as well. Did I had my hiccups along the way? Absolutely. That's a part of uh, being a human is, and part of the learning process is you're going to make your mistakes. But I would probably say that I wouldn't change a thing. I enjoyed what I did. It's a lot harder when you're an infantryman, man. As you get older, you just can't keep up with these young kids no more, and it gets to a point like, yeah, I need to retire.
Yeah,
And
the
that's
grass isn't
exactly what
greener.
happened to me, man. But to answer your question, for me, I would probably say, at this point, I just got to look out for my health. Got to be more active and you know just have a healthier lifestyle for sure. And also kind of improve some skills. Maybe I might do a certification or something on. Kind of want to do more like a OSHA safety stuff.
Mhm.
Kind of want to go into maybe becoming a safety, like a safety for one of these major companies. Like where I live, there's a lot of distribution centers that are being opening over here. So that's the reason why I kind of stuck in logistics because it pays off. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I've been noticing that a lot of them been asking is to have like OSHA 30 certifications, stuff like that. So I'm thinking about getting all those and getting that stuff taken care of. And just being a little more how can I put it, just making myself look better on the resume whenever I apply
Mhm.
for these types of jobs because um that's about the only good thing that's over here, that everything is growing. They just recently built another casino over here too, so that's like another more people are coming in and more stuff coming in. And one of the things that we've been noticing is we notice a lot of manufacturing, a lot of
Mhm.
businesses are opening, and now with this whole situation with the fuel crisis is going to end up happening here in California. There's going to be I live in the area where they produce a lot of the oil here in California, so I definitely see a boom in logistics and safety related type of jobs. So just kind of want to put myself out there and see what I can land.
I've actually heard from a lot of people who kind of have those OSHA jobs. If you have prior military experience, you're a shoe in. Attention to detail, you know, holding people accountable, holding yourself accountable. Yeah, I don't see you having a problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just more. I'm looking more for a director type of job. I mean, most of done pretty much all the lower uh, area fleet managers and reliability, freaking engineering, all kinds of crap. But I just want to do more of a director role, and that's kind of like where I'm aiming at. So I'm hoping that that does happen sooner rather than later. But I mean, I am happy where I'm at. I mean, they do treat me good, and I pretty much kind of run my own stuff here. So they sometimes I can work from home, sometimes I can work at the office. So it's a blessing. But at the same time, I'm one of those people that I can only stay at a job for so long before I wanna it gets old and I kind of lose interest. I don't know if you guys are like that,
Yeah.
but I am.
Yeah.
I after a while, man, and like it gets old, and I don't see a challenge in it anymore, and it's like it's time to move on. So
Well,
that's
from what a lot of people have told me, and I agree, it's you got to make a change every about 2 to 3 years.
Mhm.
If you just stay stagnant in one role for a long time, it doesn't necessarily look good on a resume anymore. You used to go under the days of the 30 year, you do your 30 years, you get the golden watch. My dad stayed at his firm for 30 years, and he even told me that he goes, I'm a dinosaur when it comes to this. And it's kind of over with. Those days are over with. But yeah, I'm looking at working on. I mean, depends. I'm deployable overseas with my job, so I'm trying to make as much money as I can so I can buy a house down the road.
tax free, right?
I think so. I don't know yet. I work for one of the agencies, so yeah,
Mm.
it just depends. I think since GWAT's over, it might be different, um, but we'll see. I mean, like I want to get a paralegal certification maybe down the road in 3 months, 6 months. So that's kind of what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, that's good, man. We
Very
we all
nice.
gotta kind of improve. I mean, it's no different than we were in the military. I mean, you want to get to that next rank, you got to get that extra thing. Now, like I remember when I was in the military, like one of the things is like they didn't just want you doing all your correspondence courses and your NCOES schools and stuff like that. They wanted like to be see civilian education, because they want to see
Yeah.
that you're more versatile and everything like that. So and I think that's the reason why I appreciated the military, because it kind of made me ambitious and it made me want to pursue more things. So that's always cool.
Oh, absolutely, dude. A lot of lessons learned from the military side. Never staying stagnant, always searching for the next way to better yourself. That saying, I got it written down here: "Know yourself and seek self improvement." It was always what I was told in the military, and it's kind of never left. Right? You just have there's a lot of self reflection that needs to go along with that. Kind of realizing, hey, look, I'm lacking in these things in these areas. I need to fix this, which is precisely why I did this whole live stream and I'm doing these things like, hey, the 2026 mindset, right? Nothing will work unless you do, which is an awesome Maya Angelou quote, by the way, if anybody's interested in that. But it really is like I put it off for a while. It was like, hey, look, I want to go to school. I want to go to school. Well, I got to put my foot down and actually do the damn thing if I want the end result, which is the certified smart piece of paper, right? So yeah, nothing will work unless I do. So
And just to tell you, I think that the military is probably the best socioeconomic platform for people that need to pull themselves out of bad situations. I mean,
oh yeah,
so
I believe that too.
what other organization will take you in with no skills, give you a skill, and then you got the absolute abundance of benefits when you're done. So,
And they pay you for follow-on training too.
yes,
You're getting paid to learn things.
well,
Amazing.
and you talk about skilling up. I mean, like I'm more on the white collar side of things. I worked carrying a gun, in the military, and I was like, I want to sit. My body just can't handle it anymore. But I wanted to challenge myself, and I recently just one of the community colleges out here, they have a grant through Colorado, or not Colorado, just the Department of Transportation.
Mhm.
And they paid for my CDL to get my CDL. So I'm
Right
like,
on.
why not?
Yeah.
Well, I'm an area fleet manager. Just saying, you need help, let me know.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, Drew, man. good stuff happened in 2026, dude. And I firmly believe you're going to get everything you want, as long as you keep your head in the game. And I know you will. You seem very, very goal oriented and shit competent at that, in what you want to do. Very good stuff, man. You as well, Mario.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate
your
it.
OSHA stuff.
Yeah,
the OSHA
man.
30 is. I did the OSHA 30 not too long ago. While I was still in uniform. It's not that hard. You'll get
No,
it done easy.
I'm sure it's not that hard. It's just putting the time for it.
Yeah.
It's checking a box.
Yeah, checking the box.
That's
Yes,
all
sir.
it is. A lot of these
That's all it
degrees,
is.
all it is. They just want to see that you did it.
Yeah.
And you can play the game. It's like, it's funny because one of the guys I know, he's a pilot, and he flies out here, and he was telling me the biggest thing is like still the college degree is a big thing, and they're like, even if you're prior whatever, and they're like, hey, just go get your bachelor's degree. We don't care what it's in, just do it. Just swallow your pride and just go and do it.
Yeah. So, Drew, is this your first time here?
I've been on the channel. I've commented a few times. I've watched.
Oh, okay.
I watch, but
that's awesome, bro. I appreciate
day
it.
off today,
so tell me a little bit about your background, bro. I don't know much about you.
What do you want to know?
No, like what you served, like what was your branch, what you do?
Air Force 4 years. I know you guys are what, 4 years? You guys are both prior Marines, so.
I was in the Army, bro.
You're in the Army? Okay.
I was in the Army.
Everybody told me to join the Air Force. Went in for 4 years.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I went in for 4 years active duty and got out. Kind of had a career mostly in government. Kind of ridden that train and kind of used all those avenues and trying to get so I can retire early, and it's kind of what I'm doing now.
Awesome.
Finished. I know, Vic, about you and your probationary here, and I just
don't get me started, man.
I just finished. I made it. So
yeah,
I just can't believe I did it. So I'm in that camp right now, but just making the best of the situation. I'm trying to skill up right now and enjoy this new career and try. But I picked.
That's amazing. That's great stuff, buddy. Yeah, no. My son-in-law wanted to join the Army. I was like, hell no, you don't join the Army. Like, no, you going to the Air Force, kid, because he's a smart kid. Like this kid he pretty much like what was his GT? I think it was like 135. That boy's like stupid smart. Shit. Yeah, he's like really smart. And yeah, he went in the Air Force. He was basically working on the pararescue unit. He worked on
rescue squad.
Yeah, he worked there. He did on the radar systems for all the Blackhawks that they use, and he just recently got out. So now he's working as a contractor, making 3 figures. I'm like, yep. Good, and he's got his top secret. So I was like, yep, you did everything.
6 figures, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that boy's getting good. Okay. Just got a new house too, and I was like, oh, that's what I'm talking about.
My man, that's good.
Yeah.
I've told every kid who, college, obviously AI and all that stuff coming through. Just got a computer science degree. I can't find a computer science job. I can't get it. I'm like, hey man, go cyber in the Air Force. They'll take you. Yeah. Get all your. They'll pay for everything, and once you do that, you're golden. I mean, everybody I know that went the cyber route in the Air Force is killing it right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah.
A lot of those STEM jobs, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that kid's super smart, man. That's why I told him to go in the Air Force. Go over there with those brainiacs.
Yeah,
it's a good platform to start off a career, man, because you leave it with some experience under your belt instead of being a college grad and just being like, hey, I'm applying for the first time. Well, where's your experience? I have none. That's why I'm applying to you. Well, going in the military, you don't have that issue. You got some skills under your belt.
Yeah, and I graduated college back when the housing crash happened, so there were no jobs. So I said, well, what do you got to lose to hang out for 4 years and figure it out? And I got to do a deployment. Now I'm living in an area of the country that I love, and it was like, and what's funny about it was, when I was in high school, everybody was like, oh, don't join. Are you nuts? Are you crazy? And it's like every single veteran I know, with the few that probably screwed up their careers because of alcohol and drugs.
Lifelong E1.
Yeah, just killing it. So yeah, just gave me a whole different worldview, but very glad I did it.
That's
Yeah,
good, bro.
I'll tell you, man. I was thinking about going back into government service, but the way it was handled with the
Oh,
Doge thing, it just gave
Mhm.
me a bad taste in my mouth
Yeah,
about it all, man.
yeah,
And
I
so
know.
that's what kind of launched me to do something on my own, like start maybe a business or something. I'm still researching, right? It's been I took the DRP, so that was kind of
Mhm,
like a nice paid time off to figure things out. So I'm not left
mhm.
just scrounging for whatever I could find.
Well,
But
why don't you go be a contractor with the Navy, man? They got good jobs over
oh,
there.
dude, yeah, I did that already. I mean, I could
No,
do it again, but
yeah.
I did that with surface warfare for a year. I was a training and operations advisor for surface warfare.
Mhm.
And it was fun, dude. I learned a lot, but I learned that the Navy is so technical. Um, I
Yeah, they're the
had to
Navy,
like do
bro.
self study for like 3 months just to figure out like Navy speak and what surface warfare
Mhm.
officers do because I never was in that
Mhm.
job area. It was all about like who you knew. And so
Mhm.
this lady was like the hiring manager was like, "You were a chief warrant officer in the Marine Corps. Well, I feel like you can be a training advisor here with surface warfare. You're on the team." I was like, "Well, hell yeah!" It's like who you knew. I was
That's most
introduced to this
jobs,
lady by
though.
somebody else.
That's most
What's that?
jobs. That's most jobs, though. I mean, it really is
Yeah,
a nepotism. And to be honest
yeah,
with you, I mean, like, working for government agencies and government, I mean, I don't, the concept behind Doge, and, I was in the thick of it as well. I mean,
mhm,
it wasn't fun. I mean, I was right there with you, Vic, with all of this stuff. And
yeah,
I was worried and all the stuff that was going on. But, I think the concept was a good idea, but I agree with the way it was rolled out was just a shit show. Excuse my language, but it was just like, what are you doing? And Doge is done now, but
yeah.
you know,
And,
I it's
it was
gonna
a strange.
leave
Go
a bad taste in everybody's mouth for a
Yeah,
long time because of this.
yeah, and it was a strange time too because I was excited about it. I was like, "Oh, I got my foot in the door." I was ready. I was so ready. It was, and then a few months down the road, they're like, "Hey, we got to let you go," and I'm like, "Well, shit. Okay, well." And then they brought me on back on a few weeks later, probably about 2 weeks later, and then just for several weeks down the road to let me know, "Hey, we're probably gonna have to let you go again." And I'm like, "I'm not playing this game. What am I working towards here if I don't have stability? I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow." So it's kind of a strange thing, because I was probationary. They could let me go at any time for any reason, right? At that point. Um, but I not to say that I haven't looked at USA Jobs again to see what they got out there. And a big thing that I found on USA Jobs was the VA healthcare,
Mhm.
mental healthcare counselors.
Right,
And that's what kind of led me to what I'm doing right now is the master's is going to be in human behavior psychology.
right.
Right. So, because I want to work with veterans, I just
If
hope that they don't continue cutting the freaking VA so
I
that,
don't think so, but I'm gonna tell you something. I think the one area that they will not cut because I know it would affect people is
yeah.
the vet center. The vet
Mhm.
center, they can never. I'm telling you, there's in my vet center, there's two openings right now for for what you just described in the
Psychologist.
psychologist. They can't fill those voids to save their life. That's the
Oh,
reason
dude, that's
I
a
only
dream
see
job for me, man.
my counselor once a month because he's booked. You
Yeah.
know,
Same with
so
me.
just yeah, yeah. I can't see him more than that because he's just got too many appointments and stuff like that. My only concern that is if I don't want you to get overwhelmed because I could see that job overwhelming you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And I've heard a lot from folks about that, and I'm not opposed to going and starting my own practice once I got the hours and certified and all that. What I need is like the experience, a little bit of experience in with what the VA offers. Not that I'm going to be there for long term, but I think that's where the passion lies, right? Um,
Right, right.
it's a thing of many folks that I speak with have trouble finding where their passion lies. You know, like, oh, I left the military. I don't know if I want to continue doing what I was doing in the military, but outside of the military, go from MP to be a cop, or something like that. You're not you're not cornered into those positions. You can actually do whatever the hell you want right now, and I think that's where the passion lies. And so now that I have a chance to do that, and now that I potentially can go in the VA and actually get my foot in the door with something that's necessary, there's a future there. I can see a future there. And so,
Hey, Vic,
Well,
Just-
yeah. Well, go ahead, Drew.
I'm sorry. Just be careful on that college campus with all those woke kids, man.
Oh yeah, they will
Oh,
trigger
no.
you hard, bro.
yeah,
Especially in
Yeah.
a psychiatric, or a helping career field, you're gonna
yeah.
you're gonna be there's
Yeah.
probably gonna be a lot of crying in those classes. A lot of
I've
feeling.
seen some of the descriptions on the classes. It's like, oh gosh, it's like social justice, this and that, and my daughter's in college too, so she'll tell me about it every so often when we talk about what it's like in college these days. And I stepped foot on one of the campuses here at the major universities. Just it's not the one I chose to go to, but just to see, like, get information out there. And yeah, I definitely don't fit in being the old man there, and I'm sure that my old ideas of what it is to you know to be mentally healthy is definitely shifted from whatever they teach now. So I'm willing to learn. Not that I'm closed off completely. I'm definitely willing to learn in order to connect with this generation or whoever I'm working with. I just know that I just see the differences. Yeah, I'm very aware of that. But thank you for that.
Yeah, and there's differences between each generation, bro.
Oh, there is 100%, man.
And it's interesting. But I think another thing I kind of notice is a lot of millennials are starting to have the same thing we're having. I don't know if you noticed
What's
that.
What's that?
Drew, you want to comment on that?
What are we talking about?
No, I'm just saying that as millennials and Gen Z are starting to get older, they're starting to kind of think more like us, like the Generation X kind of guys.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
mean, I
noticed.
would agree. I've always kind of thought this way. I've always kind of had this, but I noticed the shift from when I went to college, graduated college in 08 and went back.
Mhm.
I mean, this is why I going to college online. I just, hey, I get my work done. I can interact with other people, but for me, just going to a classroom and being the way that I am, I'm like, yeah, I prefer it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say that I would prefer going in a classroom, because I do want to know what people of the generation are thinking about, and their perspectives. I'm completely open to all that. Like, if I disagree with somebody, I'd like to learn about why I disagree with it, versus just kind of like staying away from it, right? And I think that's going to help me out in the whole psychology
Well, yeah,
realm.
yeah, you going into psychology, you got to have an open mind, man. You really
Yeah.
do. And sometimes it can conflict with your beliefs, which is kind of hard. It's kind of like you being a judge, I think sometimes being a judge is really hard, because you really don't want to be labeled as conservative or
Mhm.
progressive or whatever the hell it is. You
Yeah.
just want to go based on what's on the law. But regardless, you still have your beliefs, and
Yeah, and
that's kind of hard.
I'm willing to set my beliefs aside to fully understand somebody and where they're coming from. Um, I guess I'll just leave it at that. I'm very open minded when it comes to things. I'm not like stuck on one thing. But having a kid in college, having younger kids who are very social and things like that, I see things, I hear things. I'm like, okay, well, generations change, right? Not everybody's going to think the way I do. If I want to be an effective psychologist or clinical counselor, I need to be able to see things from different perspectives. Maybe if I don't agree with them, I need to be able to I would like to understand it. If that makes sense.
That's a great point of view, and I'm glad you have it because I don't. Sorry, I would not.
From
No.
what I'm read, you'll probably be the only man on that campus because no younger men are going to college.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Yeah.
really it's all women now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you bring that up, and I'm realizing that now. Like when I went on the campus, like there were more women than guys. Yeah, it's strange how that works, right?
I just think that the trades are so good right now, and there's such a demand, and you don't have to go into all this debt. I mean, what you and I are college education is completely paid. I don't know how California is, but if they subsidize your GI Bill or voc rehab with that, so you're going to be able to finish and get it done. But some of these kids are just walking out with $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 worth of debt.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
And I think that, as more men are just like, they're just getting out of that. They're just like, why am I doing this? And then I'm going to have to move back to my parents' basement and start applying for jobs. Whereas you're already established, you've already got a few streams of income coming in. You can do this at this point in your life,
Yeah. And it really is a blessing, man, that I'm able to do this. I would not think about doing that if I was younger and I had to, to be in that situation that you just mentioned. I'd have to go live with my parents again or whatever. Right now is when I have the time, the availability, and the freedom to do it. So I'm like, why not just move forward and do it? Right now is the perfect time for me to do that. So plus just going down, that's how I chose that position, like that field, like going through USA Jobs and seeing the abundance of open positions that they needed to fill at one point on clinical mental health counselors. I'm like, well, if they need it that much and that's something I'm interested in, well, damn, I think I found what I want to do, because there's a need for it. So yeah, I got full faith that I'm going to find something with this, but I will look, I will look out for these woke kids on campus, dude. That's funny you bring that up because just, it's a very, very much so a generational thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just one of those things where, it would be interesting if I went back at my age to a college campus. I think it would be just a total culture shock.
Yeah, and it was when I filmed a little thing. I never put it up. I did like a little short, and it was just me on the college campus, and I was like, man, I feel so damn old here, and I'm walking around, and I happened to stop a group of college students because I couldn't find the admin building. I was like, where it shows it on the map here, and I'm like, I just couldn't find it. I'm like, excuse me, and they were all like, who is this guy? Kind of surprised and shit. And I'm like, I'm just looking for the admin building. Can you just point me in the right direction? And they're like, oh yeah, it's over there. I'm like, all right, cool. But
I'm kind of in the camp personally where I think it's good to be college educated and have tangible skill sets, like have a trade behind you.
Oh, 100%, man.
Especially
I believe that too.
In the advent of AI and all this other stuff that's coming online. I know, for instance, with me, I'm skilling up in a lot of different things. So, because I'm not married now, I don't have any kids. So, and I'm in a position where I can do it now. So,
yeah.
And I'm also, the great thing about the military, I think too, is that it gets you used to doing jobs you hate.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get to
it's really not
push
that
through
bad.
those things.
Yeah. It teaches you that, you're not going to be pampered. You're not special, but if you need to pay the bills, so what? It's not sexy, but that's at least my belief system nowadays.
Oh yeah. Give me a second here. I'm looking into the comments. Here, give me a minute here, man. I'm gonna go fill up this water here. I'll be right back.
Hey, I got to get out of here. It was good talking to you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah. Hey Drew, yeah, you as well, man. Hey, stop
Drew.
by anytime, dude.
Yeah, thanks a lot. See you guys. Have a good day.
Take care, man.
Yeah, good talking to you guys. See you.
All right, give me a second here. Let me fill this.
All right, brother, go hydrate. All right. So we got here. Oh, so Tony likes to learn logistics. Hey, brother. best thing that I could tell you, because I'm in logistics right now, is get yourself in that before you decide to go to school. Um, I'm currently an area fleet manager for a trucking company. Um, there's a lot of intern jobs that are logistics. I would tell you to steer the hell away from Amazon, because Amazon loves to pick military. They do pay well, but they work you to death, bro. So don't ever apply to Amazon. Amazon is kind of a death trap, to be honest with you. Personally, I've seen it. I know many of my friends that have worked for Amazon. Yes, they pay you really good. Yes, their benefits are really good, but they work the crap out of you, man. And it's not, they don't care. It's just the way it is. Um, I would tell you start, if you want to start into logistics, I would tell you maybe start into a small regional distribution center and kind of work there maybe as a clerk or something like that, and see if that's something you really want to do. Because at to a certain point, man, logistics is the wave of the future, and it doesn't matter. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
also heard the same thing about Amazon, dude. And I've
yeah.
known a few folks who went into Amazon. They're like, yeah, that's not it, man.
Yeah,
That's not
no,
it.
they do pay you damn good money, man. Don't get me wrong. They do pay you good. Their benefits are good, but they work you to death, dude, and it's not
Yeah.
even worth it.
At that point, you gotta really look back and say, do I want a better quality of life, or do I want
Mhm.
more money? What's
Right.
really important to me?
Yeah, and you know, to me, really, the reason why I love my job, dude, is because I'm not always have to be in the office. I could be at home and still be as productive as I am in the office. I go
Yeah.
into the office because I do have a lot of equipment that I do have to kind of inspect and make sure it's up to par, and make sure that because truckers are truckers, bro. They're kind of like E4s, bro. If you let them get away with something, they're gonna get away with it. They'll do the half-ass thing and just do what they need to do, but they don't stop and think about it. That we live in a state where we have a law agency called the California Highway Patrol that
Mhm.
do not care about trucking. They don't care about truckers. They are superimposing on anything and everything. And the reason why I do that, man, is because I want these guys to save their lives and to save their livelihood, because this affects their CDL. If they get a ticket, it's on them. It's not on the company. The company's going to get
Yeah.
points or whatever the case would be, but that infraction is going to stay on that driver's driving record, you know. And but that's what I love about my job, dude. My job is, it gives me the flexibility and stuff like that. But like I tell you, to a certain point, it's like, it's gonna get old and I want to do something else, but I want to kind of like prepare myself for it. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's my
exactly,
thing,
dude.
brother.
Well, good, man. I think that's kind of a good stopping point
Oh,
right
you
there,
lost your
dude.
audio again, brother.
Did I? Damn.
Yeah, man. What are you doing with you, man? You need to PMCS your stuff, bro. What's up? Yeah, cheer warrant officers. What you doing, man? You ain't got no E4 no more, bro.
You better? There we go. No, man, I got to
Lost
get a
you,
new
bro.
cord for this. I pulled the freaking cord off this microphone, and I think it's messing
Still
up here.
lost you, man. I can't hear
But
you.
can't hear me? Test, 1, 2, 3. No,
Mm-mm.
really.
All right, try to talk now.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test
Yep.
1, 2, 3. No.
What do you have? You have it on interface or something? Your microphone?
Hold on a second, man. Folks in the comments are saying the audio is good.
I don't hear anything. Maybe it's me. All right, let me refresh. I'll come right back. Maybe it's me. I doubt it, but
Test 1, 2, 3. Don't know if you can hear me. Audio up? Yes, no, maybe so. I don't know. All right. Looks like 100%. Okay, cool. But yeah, here we go, Mario. Yeah, you hear me now? I can hear you.
no, man, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I can't hear you, man.
Okay.
Hold on a minute.
I'll tell you what. Read my lips, dude.
Check
Read
my
my
stuff.
lips.
Make sure my speakers are good.
Oh man, we're gonna spend the next half hour saying, "Can you hear me? I can hear you."
Mm.
Oh, hey, good stuff. Make sure that.
The heck?
All right, so Army ran out of his online credits for audio. Comms check. All right. Well, I'll tell you this: we covered a lot of stuff today, in the live stream. Okay, a lot of 2026 goals, a lot of 2026 mindset. Essentially, nothing will work unless you do, right? So, I got big goals for 2026, and I hope you have the same. You know, don't stay stagnant, as I mentioned before. And I think Navy cop corrected me a little bit, but it was calm waters never made a good sailor. So make sure that you make a little bit of waves and do something for 2026. A few goals of mine, real quick, and I'll get into them. And I'm curious to hear yours in the comments. A few goals of mine are reading a little bit more. I'm coming up with a 12 book reading list, and I'll share that in a subsequent video here. And I'll release it to members of the group or of the YouTube channel first. So if you would like to, hey, feel free to become a member. I'm not going to push too hard. That's only if you'd like to. I'll release the video to them first, and I'm looking to write more, this year, this coming year. Essentially, I'm looking to come out with another book. I say another book, but I co-wrote a book. It's on Amazon right now called The Bottom Line Up Front. What I wish I knew when leaving the military. I co-wrote it with my co-host from the Military Retirement Podcast, John. And again, you can find that on Amazon. I'm not pushing this too hard or anything like that. Please let me know if I am, because then I'll shut up. But one of my big goals this year is I've been wanting to do this for a few years, and I figured right now is the best time to do it, or at least this coming year is the best time to do it while I'm young, as young as I can be, right? And while I feel okay, it's walk the Camino de Santiago de Compostela, which is a walk from France to Spain. Takes about 30 days or so to do that. And you're just walking along different little towns here and there around France to Spain, a pilgrimage of sorts. So I'll be working towards that this coming year. So that is my big goal. Aside from that, it's traveling with family, being more present with family, reading more, writing more, researching more, my schooling. So have goals, have milestones, and put those things on your calendar to keep yourself accountable. And if you would like to, if you need somebody to keep you accountable, please reach out to me, thegreenlogbook@gmail.com, and I will punk you every time you miss a milestone. So if you like that, I can definitely do that for you. So with that awesome talk, thank you to Mario for coming on. Thank you for Drew for coming on. Navy Cop, one of the members of the group, and a few other folks that came on. I see Tony Slaughter on here, Harley for Bill, Trump said 3550. Thanks for coming on. Who else we got on here? Let's see. We got Boston Rob, second act. Awesome. Good to have you, buddy. We had a few more folks on here too. Let me see. I'm just going. Charlton Zimmerman. Awesome to have you, bud. Good to have the Gunny on there as well. What up, Doe with Detroit Gunny? Good to have him on here. Yeah. Let's see. We got Yobani Serrano. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for coming by. Thank you. But yeah, I'm looking to do a few things, accountability stuff, and getting potentially a book club going. I enjoy reading. I got my reading chair behind me right there, and got my lamp and all that stuff. I enjoy doing this stuff. I enjoy connecting with veterans. That is a passion of mine. Real quick, thank you Trump said 3550 for that. Truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate it. Helps the channel out a ton to help pay for the software and stuff that I use for these live streams and all that. But yeah, a lot of plans coming up this year. If you would like to connect, again, my email is thegreenlogbook@gmail.com. If you know of any nonprofits or anything like that that I should be connected with that I'm not currently connected with, please feel free to send me the email and I'll connect with them. In 2026, I want to go around and meet with more nonprofits and interview them, talk to them, see about their inner workings of how they work, what they're doing for the veteran community, and so on. So looking to grow the channel a little bit more. I hit my goal of 8,000 subscribers for the year. Actually, I met it and surpassed it. So truly appreciate everybody out there who's listening, who has liked and subscribed to the channel. Aside from that, yeah, just staying safe, enjoying the New Year's, connecting with family, friends, etc. Doing buddy checks is very important to me. So definitely, if you have not done so already, make sure you do a buddy check with anybody you may have served with in the past. Just say, hey, how you doing? How's the family? How you doing around the holidays? When you receive that text or that call, it really makes it feel like, people out there care. So definitely a big thing for me. Make sure you dial 988 if you're having some problems. The Veterans Crisis Line, dial 1, and that'll get you connected. But aside from that, I will be on the live stream this Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Military Retirement Podcast with my co-host John, and we're going to be doing a 2025 in review live stream. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. So yep, we are one. Exactly. I love that. So with that, going on 3 hours, I got to save my voice a little bit, but thank you all for joining me. This has been the Green Logbook out here.